Hello everyone and welcome to episode 25 of Lost Judgment. This is, we expect, the last session of Lost Judgment. It's a game that I very much enjoyed. If you have come in, if you sort of like came into the collection and clicked through to the very, very last video, know that the previous video was the main story finale, and we talked at substantial length and detail in the end over the credits, over my thoughts on the entire main story investigation, sort of the ups and downs of Lost Judgment, a lot more ups than downs I found, and then a really interesting conversation with chat. However, in this sort of epilogue episode, what we're going to do is jump in here. This was the save that was created at the very end of it all. I think we might have talked for a solid 40 minutes because the end game clock was actually 73 hours on the dot. We're going to jump in here because one thing... Hello to Markintosh! Markintosh, I hope you've had a great couple days, really, but also a great Thursday. As of the last episode, if there was a way to wrap up the school storyline with Amasawa and the professor prior to the conclusion of the main story, I was not able to find it. There's a slender possibility that during the last visit to Ijincho, ahead of the trial, that there was an opening there. However, oh, right, we're not even in the right city. Now, let me go over here. By that point, I felt like, we were already committed to wrapping up the main story, and I didn't want to change tacks from there. Aside from that, the game just flat out said, hey, Amasawa's not going to talk to you until like a very specific time of day, and also it's not going to be that time of day, so just go on with the main story. Now, however, we did verify in the last episode that we would be able to go there now. So, before we go and see Amasawa, I would like to, at the end of the game, Yagami received 500,000 yen, which at least my headcanon is telling me was probably his payout from the work that he did with Genda Law Firm. He said, hey, I'm going to be pretty pricey if you really want to do this. And I think that might be where the cash came from. So what I think we're going to try to do is, I don't want to play a lot of like batting cage and darts with Emily-chan, if I can avoid it, but if we can advance that story in a way that allows us to see whatever final, like, plot content there is, sure, let's do that. And I'm thinking that maybe we can fast-track that a whole bunch by going to Hustle Boutique and buying her a whole bunch of the same set of earrings, and maybe that will speed things forward. And if it turns out to be a chore, then we will stop that. Part of the reason that I'm also looking at doing this is, well, first of all, I like the storyline. I like the story content, generally speaking. I'd like to see as much of that as we can. But the other reason is that it's my suspicion that the school story, like I don't think that we have like hours and hours and hours left in the Amasawa investigation. I don't actually know. And if you're watching this VOD at some point in the future and it goes on for like 7 hours, whoops. But yeah, otherwise, I feel like we have time to do this. Okay, welcome to Hustle Boutique. I would like to buy just 10 of these. Just 10. A solid 40 grand just on that. Okay. If I had to come back, maybe I'll come back. But I'm hoping that we can just go present. We're going to do the Leliana tack and just really move this relationship forward as quickly as possible. I will also share, there's here's just a fun little detail. I have said in the past that, not necessarily a big fan of Emily-chan. There is an exception to that. I really legitimately like it when, we get these little, voice clips, these little, super quick, voice reactions from the characters, even during non-voice scenes. I really like it when she goes, Takayuki! It's just, I like that every time. She is the only character, as far as I know, she's the only character in both Judgment games that defaults to Yagami's first name. The next closest is Kaito-san, who calls him Tak, but every other character just refers to him as Yagami. And I know that that's more common in Japan, but I thought that once you, and I could be wrong about this, I generally thought that if you reached a certain level of personal familiarity, that, especially in non-formal scenes, you might just call a person by their given name and not their personal name. And it's notable to me that Yes, we should go inside. It's notable to me that Yagami has no one in his life that calls him Takayuki.
Yagami-san, 来てくれたんだね.
And that includes, like, Mafiu. I could be misremembering, but I think even Mafiu calls him Yagami. Hey, Emily-chan. Oh, Takayuki, you came. Since I'm already here, maybe we'll find someone to talk. So let's see if there's anything to talk about. Nope. We've exhausted all of the conversation topics that we will ever have with Emily-chan. So let's give her some earrings. So our goal is to get her, we have so far to go. The 10 earrings is not going to be enough. So let's go, here's what we're going to do. Let's go hang out. We're going to go do batting cage. Did I, like, really biff it on a lot of conversations with Emily-chan, or is she, like, it feels like a real grind. We'll see how it goes. So I still have only got the basic bat. Yeah, I know, I have at least on occasion, I know it's conceivable for me to beat this, this first one. And maybe the date meter goes up more if you beat it. So far, I think every time we've come here with Emily-chan, it's been... What was her name? I've lost. I've not come in for the 8 runs.
Nice.
Markintash's point is saying that, Yagami calls her Emily. As opposed to, like, Mochizuki, I think is her last name, or family name. Oops.
Yep.
You get 4 more runs in 5 pitches.
Nice.
Although, I don't know if that's because she's not originally from Japan, so maybe she's just more accustomed to being called Emily by people, but she just says to everybody, call me Emily. Alright, I'm gonna assume that this is gonna come in a little bit. Alright, what do I need? 1 more? Or is that... Nope, there's 8. Okay. So hopefully this is the most successful date that we've ever had with Emily-chan.
Nice.
This raises it up more than, what, 4,000 yen? Yeah, whatever. 4,000 yen, earrings. Yay. By the way, there was, like, some article, or, it had a picture in it that included a photograph of the Japanese... I now I'm forgetting already whether or not he's a Japanese actor or, like, pop star, but the person who is the face model for Yagami. And here's what's interesting. He actually looks younger than real Yagami. Like, I think, or sorry, than video game Yagami. He's real Yagami. He actually looks younger than regular Yagami. I did it again! He actually looks younger than the video game character version of Yagami, which is interesting to me because it suggests that maybe they aged the character up a little bit, especially in this game for it's been like 3 years. Yeah, that was like 1.5 earrings right there. Okay. Let's give her all of the rest of the earrings. We'll do this in as few moves as possible. I've got something for you. Oh yeah, okay. Anyway, it was like a photograph of him playing, I believe it was Lost Judgment, but he was sort of like making he was maybe like an expression on it. So I actually didn't have a good sense for how good of a likeness it is overall. But the article did specifically touch on something that we've talked about here, that there, at least was a dispute between, let me think about this, between the talent agency that manages his career and the video game company over what platforms Lost Judgment is allowed to be on. And this article mentioned that in light of the fact that I guess, at least in Japan, there's now plans in the works for a live-action Judgment series. It's not called Judgment, it's not called Lost Judgment, it's called something like, oh gosh. And I read this like yesterday, you guys. It's not like this was a week ago. Hello to Centrifugal Force, who says, you're about to lose the sun in 20 minutes or so because my cats have sucked up all the sun from sunbathing. I am sorry. Yeah, we'll probably be short on crops and oxygen from plankton as well. That'll be concerning. But otherwise, it's been a good run, I'd say. And the cats are worth it. Hello to Grumpy. Force, I hope you've had a good week so far. Yeah, we are gonna try to... Okay, finally. We are at level 4 intimacy. Okay, so do I leave and come back in, or... That was fun. Now she's walking out with a small, like, lunch bag just filled with identical hoop earrings. They're probably not hoop earrings, though, are they? They're just, like, earrings with, like, circles on them, like circlet earrings. I can't believe I have to pay $2,000 every single time I go on a... Actually, multiple times. Multiple times. Yeah, it's market times. I would buy her different earrings if there were different earrings. Like, maybe there's other things that you can give her. I just haven't found them. Man, fuck off, Emily. I swear to God. So what did I come in here for? Really? Oh, you know what? Oh, derp. You know what I have to do? I have to go down the street, and then she'll text, and then we can go meet her at the... I should have walked further away. Either that or she's not going to call, in which case I will just go right along with Yagami's life. Seriously, though? Nothing. I don't begrudge the money, because what else are we going to spend cash on? But I'm just, really. I'm actually opening this up to check my messages. Hey, Emily. Seriously? Nothing. We had such a great date with all of the sets of identical earrings. Oh, well. All right, so let's go on to Serio High School. Getting ghosted by Emily. Wow, it's not the way that I thought this was gonna go. Forrest is enjoying the oh fuck off Emily. Yeah, for me it's like I don't feel very invested in this relationship, but I'm like, I'd like to see the story part of it, and Yagami's into it. Like, if Yagami was more ambiguous about it, or ambivalent about it, I'd be like, we can just skip this. It's the same way that I felt about all the dating in the first game. I will also note, because this was pointed out, Yagami's age difference with Emily isn't that much narrower. No, we're not fighting. Okay. We are fighting. I was very quietly sort of thinking maybe this would be the first episode of Lost Judgment ever that didn't have any fighting. Like, if it all takes place inside the high school and it's all investigating things with Amasawa and friends. But alas, here we are.
Really, guys?
Mark and Tasha is saying that Emily Chan needs some alone time. She is entitled to alone time. Like, I don't want it to come off like, oh, I gave Emily Chan a whole bunch of earrings, so now Yagami is owed affection. My goal was to advance the storyline, and if the two of them just held hands down the concourse and she talked about how hard it was to grow up in a country where she didn't speak the language, like, that's the part of the Emily storyline that I'm the most interested in. Is Emily represents an archetype that, to my knowledge, we haven't seen in either of the two games outside of that, which is someone who is not natively Japanese, who, like, came here at a young age, didn't really speak the language, had a lot of trouble making friends. That's interesting to me. It doesn't have to, take place in the scope of a romantic relationship, and I'd want to see that through. So that was the part I was interested in. But yeah, if she wants to, take a break from Yagami, I pointed this out, but that was actually something that happened in the first Judgment. Yagami went on a few dates with one of the available women, like one of the women who were dateable in the game, and she, like, he called her up and she's like, yeah, no, I'm kind of busy, so I will call you if I free up. And I said, no worries. And we did not speak with her again, because for the whole rest of the game, she never called up. And I'm like, I'm not going to continue to have Yagami invade this person's space. She literally says, I'm really not into this, and tries to fix Yagami up with her friend. So I was like, no, let's move on.
Yagami-san.
Okay, here we go. Finally. Ready, Yagami-san? From here on, the school stories will commence the truth. Once this starts, everything else we put on hold until you clear it. Yes, we will proceed. I'm good.
Yeah.
Well then, let's look back on each incident in the MRC's investigated, so we can hopefully gain a better perspective. Okay, so we will press and look. So, I have no idea who this is. This is... Okay, so the character on the left. Now it's time to play my favorite internal mind game. Is that Nishizono or Norizuki? One of the... So the person that we're looking at is the leader of the... On the left there, is the leader of the Serio Rabbits. She really embraced the school motto of dance like nobody's watching. She rallied together the troops, but wasn't... The dance troupe, I mean, but wasn't sure how to inject more energy into the dance routine, and that's when she sort of recruited Yagami, or Yagami offered to be recruited, to help spice up their routine so that they'd have more energy and pizzazz and... be less formulaic, be less sort of listless, I guess, where everything was just in perfect sync, but didn't have any energy behind it. She also really liked a boy named Hiragi. I believe that was his name. And Hiragi was like this big, stupid, drooling doofus that I didn't see any benefit to at all, but she got into a bet with the young woman who was the leader of the other dance troupe, that whoever won the finals would be allowed to confess their feelings to Hiragi. And I was like, okay, well, that's sort of a typical high school story, isn't it? Like a contest over the perceived affection of another, without actually talking to the target of the affection. That was actually the whole bet. But then about 2/3 of the way through, Hiragi just announced like, yo, hey guys, I got a girlfriend, I'll see you later, and just like takes off. He just like nopes out of the whole story, and this led to one of the parts of the story that I liked the most. I really was so enamored of this, where the two young women involved in the story realized that, having this contest over like Hiragi, who cares? He's literally some guy, and he just sort of like, he clearly didn't care about either of them and just went off to do his own thing. He wasn't even aware that there was affection on the line. And instead, what they realized is that they still wanted to compete against one another to find who was the better dancer, not out of any acrimony, just for the thrill of the competition, the fun of the competition. Going after the boy had nothing to do with it. They both loved dancing. They both loved how the sense of competition drove them to higher heights, to work harder, to be better, and now they wanted to see who was better. Not to beat the other person, but out of the truest spirit of competition. All of that said, I do not know if that is Norizuki or Nishizono, because Norizuki is one of them. She's either the person that we're looking at, or the person from the other dance troupe, or she's Nishizono. I don't know which one, because the fucking game gave me two names with the same number of syllables that both begin with N, and I'm bad with names to start with. So I remember this story. I know the story. I do not know this person's name. So I am going to commit to that being Norizuki. Yes. I'm going to say that that's Norizuki and that the other person is Nishizono. Let's find out. So Norizuki, I'm locking it in. Also, I don't know who's on the left there. Or sorry, who's on the right. I don't, like, I'm sure that she's in the dance troupe. Don't actually recognize that person. It's not Minami. In the dance club, Maika Takanashi got into her... Oh, that's who that was. Okay. Yeah, we haven't seen Takanashi in forever. Got into her sugar baby gigs through the professor's message board. That was what led us to discovering the actual site on the dark web. Students post on the site by using an exclusive browser and registering by using their student IDs.
In other words...
As such, we've come to the conclusion that the professor has a very advanced knowledge of computer networking and programming.
Yeah.
That, or he's got someone on his crew with the knowledge.
Now that you mention it.
As for Takanashi-san's motive for becoming a sugar baby, that was a rather unexpected development. Yeah, the person who Takanashi went through all the effort was... Oh, wasn't it? It was, Itakura. Yeah, that's how we met Itakura. Boy, this game is gonna be a quiz, isn't it? That was how Yagami met Itakura, because she felt bad and was trying to help Itakura, like, pay... Was it to pay for tuition? I think it was. But let's, lock this in. Oh, and but wait, it is the correct answer, but I wanted to read this. A second year and former chairman of the Cultural Festival Committee, a good student with high marks, but 6 months ago she clashed with the members of the Cultural Festival Committee, resulting in its dissolution. Itakura was widely disliked among her peers. After the Cultural Festival's massive failure, Itakura stopped coming to school and started showing up solely for the MRC. She's now a programmer for the Robotics Club as well. I really liked her story, by the way. Like, we need to talk more at some point about, like the whole STEM sideline that took off with her. That, like, she turned out to not be that good at, like, organizing the cultural festival, but she turned out to be the best programmer at school, which is awesome. Kotoko Itakura. Last semester, Itakura was the chairman of the Cultural Festival Committee. I did not know that Yagami was going to cover this for us. Takanashi was a member of that committee too. The other members got sick of Itakura's poor attitude and eventually began ignoring her. By the end of it, everyone had turned their backs on her.
Yes.
That had to have been rough. At any rate, the result was a colossal failure of a cultural festival, and Itakura-san hasn't been seen in class ever since. Therefore, the identity of the dance club Sugar Baby was revealed, but the case didn't end there. Someone by the username of Dancing Bunny posted a request for a physical assault of Norizuki-san. Wait, which one did I say? I was wrong! Fudge! Okay. Because that means that Norizuki was the former pop idol who was... The dude was hired to, like, smash in her knee, which is very, very, very not funny. But it does mean that I was wrong. Norizuki was that one, so Nishizono was the actual Dancing Bunny, not the one that did the hiring. And the person who requested the hit turned out to be a bit of a surprise to us.
Yeah.
The true identity of the poster who requested the attack on Yuri Norizuki is... Yeah, I cannot believe this dude's not in prison. Okay. Let's read about him, though. Ex-faculty advisor for Serio's dance club, he turned out to be the poster of the requested assault on Yuri Norizuki. Spoiler alert, Yagami! Like, we're supposed to be deducing who it was or remembering who it was. When Norizuki retired from her idol group, Twinkles, he claimed that she did not get to dance her own way. She claimed that she did not get to dance her own way, which was a way Kamakoto particularly loved. Having been denied what he felt he was owed, he began to plot his revenge. Even the description of it makes me so mad that Yagami didn't put him in jail. Reveal the evidence. Worst story in the game. Like, that was the worst moment of the whole story of both Judgment games. I was so mad about that. It was the dance club advisor Kamakoto. He used Nishizono's Dancing Bunny account to make the request. Except, according to Sakakiba, the professor actually never granted the request, despite the generous offer from Kamakoto. What we can deduce from this is that the professor's motive behind his machinations are not actually monetary in nature. That does make me wonder what the professor's criteria is for selecting posts. Okay. So, biker gang. And we now know that they're going to review this in detail, so we're just going to click on it. But that's Suo. The leader of Made in Heaven, Yuma Suo, he went from the disciplinary committee to a biker gang practically overnight.
Yes.
It turned out that Suo-kun's mother had forbade him from participating in motocross, so he was doing what he could to suppress that desire of his while still having an outlet for it. Right, and the professor picked up on that jealousy, so he exploited it by manipulating Suo through certain means to lead Suo astray. Well, it was... It was the professor that implanted the Neo-Keihin members into the biker gang prevention group, but it wasn't Sayama that did it. Oh, was this it? I think it might have been the letter. Yeah. The letter that was inside the Serio High Disciplinaries Committee suggestion box, letter inside, along with a picture of Made in Heaven members riding around on bikes. That's what got Suo to go there to talk to the people at Made in Heaven, and then he subsequently started racing with them. Apparently, he was tipped off by a letter found in the committee's suggestion box from a Prof. M. Pretty safe to say that was the professor. This was supported by the fact that the letter was dropped off directly in the committee suggestion box. Since it's located on campus, I find it highly likely that the professor attends or works at our school.
Yagami-san.
We mustn't forget, though, there was one more key figure in this case, an individual connected to the Neo-Keihin gang. Yeah, and that would be... well, Dan Murasaki... But no, he wasn't connected to the gang, though, was he? Was he? I don't think. He was. Yeah, wasn't a lot of his group coming in from the Neo-Keihin gang? Because it wasn't this dude. Like he sort of like put on a suit and took the spikes out of his ears and went off to become a fireworks maker. And yeah, she was super sad that the original representative for the club had died, and that was sort of her whole deal. But I think it was Dan Murasaki. Pretty sure that a lot of his like violent thugs, he was going to go join with them. Dan Murasaki, aka Ghost. He's the younger brother of the legendary gang founder, Reiji Murasaki. Dan's goal was to rise to the top of the Ichincho underworld so he could step out from his brother's shadow and make a name for himself. Koga, the Neo-Keihin gang's leader, took notice of him and used his ambition for their own gain. They were trying to make up for the lack of heavy hitters by making Dan Murasaki the rep of Made in Heaven and recruiting him to the Neo-Keihin gang.
Now that you mention it.
This Koga must have wanted to win the professor's favor, given how he thought of this as a sort of offering to the professor. Yeah, so just to like briefly talk through it, the biker gang story I enjoyed because, and we'll see this as a running theme through a lot of these, where the students who are engaged in these various activities, this will come up again in both the robotics club and the esports club and the photography club to an extent, were worried about losing the thing that they were most passionate about, so they corrupted their normal behavior in more dangerous ways by sort of cheating or scamming or lying in order to, or illegal street racing, to be able to hold on to something that really mattered to them, because they either didn't recognize another more constructive way to do it or felt like those methods were barred to them. It was sort of a running theme with a few of the different ones. So here is the robotics club.
Suspicious.
The robotics club. I nosed around there after reports of robot cut purses in the city. Robot cut purses. As a result, we discovered that the thieving robot's designer was... this guy. Actually, it's right here. Second year, he's quiet and neat and does his job well. Seems like a good kid. Yeah, Kuramazaki was the original creator. Or designer. Kuramazaki-kun. To be honest, I had suspected Okitagawa-kun. It's a shame I misjudged the truth. Luckily, we were able to get our hands on something juicy at that lab. A key piece of evidence that points towards the professor's motive behind investigating all this criminal behavior. And it was the plans. Not photo of. We did get the thief bot, but it was the blueprints, wasn't it? towards the professor's motive, though. What the hell was his motive? Text file Tsukumo found containing copied emails between the professor and the Neo-Keihin gang. The professor had ordered 8 students of Seiryo High to be led to a life of crime, one of whom being Kuromazaki-kun. It's possible the professor's motives might be hiding in that fact. So, I mean, that sounds like what it is. I do remember that giving them the total number of, like students that had been targeted for moral corruption, but as far as what the motive is, I feel like that's still opaque. That would be the copies of the email correspondence with the professor, which we found on the lab's laptop. The professor was explicitly plotting with the Neo-Keihin gang to turn Kuromazaki-kun and 7 other specific students to the wrong side of the law.
In other words...
So, 8 students total. We still don't know why he chose them. But I believe finding that out will be the key to discovering the professor's identity. That was nice and concise. Alright, so... here's the boxing one, and when we're done, when they're done with their summation, I do have something quick to say about it as well. The Todoroki boxing gym. This is the payback boxer case. Some masked kid kept picking fights with martial arts experts and other rough and tumble types out on the streets, and in the end, we figured out who he really was. It was Oshikiri. It was Kenya Oshikiri. He's a former karate club member who turned out to be the wunderkind of Todoroki's gym. In fact, we even have evidence of Oshikiri's motive. Well, I mean, that's a picture, pardon me, of his dad. I don't know if that's a picture of the motive, though. Like, the Genbukai was his motive, and the presence of his father also motivated him to do that. Let me read this through. Amasawa snapped this photo of Reiji Honda, former Keihin gang member. She apparently took it outside an underground fighting event called the Genbukai, which Oshikiri used to fight in. Honda's now a member of the Neo-Keihin gang and apparently runs the Genbukai. There's a high chance the professor is involved in the event's organization as well. Also pictured with Honda is some other guy who definitely doesn't look like a civilian. Yeah, that other guy is Fudo, which is his dad. But let's take a look through some of these. Oh, it was the fixed match evidence. Yeah, that's why he was doing it, because he was mad that he hadn't been given a fair fight, and he wanted to see if he was still capable of beating them when they were fighting for their lives. Oshikiri only entered the Genbukai to try and overcome his fear of his father, Fudo. Problem is, he found out that all his fights were fixed in his favor. His championship status was a setup for the showrunners to line their pockets.
In other words...
And he learned it from the professor, who sent him all the evidence he needed to see the truth for himself.
Which means...
Which leads us to the question, why would the professor reveal his own hand like that?
In other words...
Had this news of match fixing leaked to the public, people would stop betting. The Genbukai racket would be done for. We can at least assume that money is not the motive.
If I have this right.
Looks like the professor's motive is a major key to solving this case. Okay, so before we move on to this, I sort of thought that maybe we'd touch base on like the different stories like at the end, but I mean, we're looking at a board of them. The boxing gym one, just to like zoom in on that real quick. Take it like in the storyline, Oshikiri was groomed from a very, very young age to be a Yakuza hitman. He was going to be an assassin, and his father raised him from a very young age to be a fighter, to know how to kill people, to have the instinct and the gut reflex reactions to do it. If you take that out, just remove that judgment version of the story, what you're left with is a young man who was terribly abused by a parent, who ran away from home, emancipated himself, went off with I think he lives with his mom, went off with his mom, but still grapples with the emotional and psychological damage done by being raised in an extremely abusive environment. And for Oshikiri, the way that comes out is he's very good at fighting, but has temper and anger control issues. And the main story of the boxing was him learning to control that aspect of himself. Now, some people might look at the boxing storyline and say, oh, the message is that people who have been abused are inherently violent, or they're more likely to lash out or be violent towards others. There's some studies that say that people who are raised in an abusive environment are more likely to be abusive themselves. It's, I can't say that is... I don't know the statistics on how common it is, but this is not that story, I don't think, because what the main story is not that he's more likely to be violent, just that he needs a little bit of guidance on how to control some really powerful fight or flight instincts that have come up. And the way that manifests is he's looking for ways to sort of hone his skills and be able to defend himself, but his coach, Todoroki, is looking for a way to help him control his instincts, and as Todoroki puts it, to discover the joy of boxing, to take to boxing not only as a way to hone his skills, but as a way to release that pent-up tension. And what Todoroki is looking for, in not a particularly constructive way sometimes, is someone who can get into the ring with Oshikiri and go the distance with him, who can give him a good enough fight to trigger that adrenaline response where his eyes sort of glaze over and he becomes violent, and then to withstand that and to get Oshikiri to the other side of it. And the storyline comes off as a real celebration of teamwork and camaraderie and boxing as a sport, where it's not about the violence, and that is hammered home in that story time and time and time again, but rather an opportunity for people to compete in a fight in a way that is supportive and constructive and brings out the best in them. And I thought it was a really interesting storyline. And again, once you take out the Yakuza hitman of it, it feels actually fairly down to earth, that it's about someone who has been emotionally scarred and is looking for an emotional and physical relief and release in a way that is constructive and allows him to work through it. I thought it was interesting, so I like that story of it. So, I didn't mean to walk backwards. Let's start down here. Shinosuke Shikishima, the leader of the Ijincho Hounds, a local skateboarding community. He's also the culprit responsible for drawing the graffiti art that suddenly appeared on the walls of Serio. The professor just so happened to be the motif of that graffiti.
Yeah.
Shikishima received a direct request from the professor via the website's private messaging system. That was what led him to tag the school. Graffiti is the perfect blend of crime and art. Okay, if you say so, Yagami. Graffiti is the perfect blend of crime and art. Wow, that's all he said? Because there was a whole other aspect to that where, again, his whole thing was with the graffiti was he had a former best friend who in middle school was this like really great artist, but after some it was either an injury that led to surgery, it was some sort of surgery on his hand, he wasn't as good of an artist anymore, so he just gave up art. And this dude, Shikishima, who seemed like such a turd for so long, was so bothered by that, so angry about his decision to walk away from being so talented, that he became a graffiti artist himself, learning to do graffiti with his off hand, with his less dominant hand, so that he could show that great art can come from practice, not just from natural talent, and that his friend could learn to draw and to be an artist with his alternate hand. It's like there was a lot that happened in that storyline, and again was surprisingly like cool and uplifting relative to what I thought it was going to be. So here's the photography club. Kanto Hikawa, former president of the photography club. He'd been blackmailing Saiga sensei to save up for his college tuition. Thanks to the professor's website, Hikawa-kun found out Saiga sensei was having an affair. The professor supposedly reached out to Hikawa-kun to make first contact, rather than vice versa.
In other words,
which means Hikawa was one of the professor's targets. And again, we're breezing right past it. So here's just one thing I thought was cool about the photography club. I feel like in high school, one of the things that's happening for people emotionally and psychologically is learning who they want to be in life and who they feel they're capable of being in life. And it's that transition from being a kid into being an adult. It's this whole idea of young adulthood and sort of like determining yourself. And the photography club, the whole storyline is about, in a way, seeing yourself as others see you. The entire idea that a photograph taken of you not at your best could be shocking, and the separation between who you think you are, who you want to be, and who you actually are in these moments that are caught on film could be really shocking to people, and at least in this storyline could turn you away from doing the more selfish and destructive things that are available. Mechanically, I think it was in here to sort of do some more photography stuff, since it doesn't really come up anywhere else in the entire game. There's a whole system that they had intended, that they had designed, and so I liked it mechanically, but I also liked thematically how it fit in with the rest of the stories in the game. It's about people, high school students, finding themselves, and in the photography club specifically, being confronted with a vision of yourself that runs so counter to your own self-image that it wakes you up, it shakes you awake and says, no, you have to change course. Fox McCloud says, you reminded me of an anime of a boxer that adopts a little girl whose parents got murdered as they try to find out who did it. It's not another superpower anime, actually shocking. It's just regular people with skills that they actually developed over time fighting the villains. Fox McCloud, that sounds awesome. Do you know the name of it? Fox is also saying that he's kind of sick of superpowered anime. What's the name of that anime? It sounds pretty cool. I love it when animation as an art form is used to tell... When I say mundane stories, I mean like down-to-earth, regular stories, because it's such a vibrant visual presentation, and it doesn't have to be people throwing energy blasts at each other. It can be characters talking and having real character moments. And I know that superpowered anime can have that as well, but I just love it when animation is used to do something that's less common for animation. Fox McCloud is going to try to look it back up. So this is the esports dude. The esports story of them all was for sure the most basic. Hey, I'm cheating at a video game because I want to be good at the video game, and I don't want my club to get shut down. It was so weird. Oh, no one perceives value in my video game club, so I'm going to cheat at the video game to make myself better and to, like... I didn't understand how that was supposed to make people respect the video game club, whether or not the cheating went undetected. If you just detest this particular expression of competitive art, then you're just gonna hate it, whether this dude is winning or not. Genya Sanbanmatsu, the head of the Serio High's esports club. He cheated in competitions with a tool-assisted joystick. He seems to have acquired the program and his joystick from the professor, and is apparently too advanced for any normal high school student to have developed
In other words,
which would mean the professor has unusually high technical skills.
suspicious.
Itakura, I bet Itakura could design that too, though. Kohaku Hayakawa, a female student in the board game club. She started going to an underground casino here in town looking for thrills. Since minors aren't usually allowed in casinos, Hayakawa got access by borrowing her brother's membership card. She even impersonated her brother whenever she went into gambling. In the end, though, we learned she had nothing to do with the professor.
Excuse me.
Since her case won't contribute anything to our work on the professor, I'll go ahead and exclude it from our list. She actually took it down. Okay, and then here's the girls bite thing, which again, much like the first one, included a stalker situation, but so it was every bit as bad of a stalker situation. Maybe arguably worse because he wanted to kill her instead of just like permanently maim her. But at least in this one, Yagami did put the dude in jail. Markintosh is back, yes. The chat disconnected, he said. That happens to me sometimes. Emily S. Mochizuki, popular employee of the girls' bar, Girls Bite. Kizuna Ashihara, a third-year at Serio, lied about his age and frequently visited her along with members of the Neo-Keihin gang. Ashihara-kun supposedly joined the Neo-Keihin gang thanks to his senpai.
Yeah.
That was the unique part of this case. Ashihara had no contact whatsoever with the professor.
Wait a minute.
In other words, he wasn't one of the professor's targets for delinquency. However, Ashihara-kun happened to overhear some key info about the professor while he was at the Neo-Keihin gang's hideout. Yeah, when Koga hung up after a certain phone call, he muttered something to himself. That brat. I remember that. That brat. Supposedly, that's what Ashihara heard Koga saying. The fact that he said brat must mean the professor is quite younger than Koga. He's most likely around 40, so we can expect the professor to be in his teens, maybe early 20s. Okay, investigation complete. Alright, we've gone through all the information we have so far. The biggest thing we still don't know is the professor's motive behind selecting those 8 specific students to lead astray.
Yeah.
Out of the 8, we know one person for absolute certain, Kuromizaki-kun in the robotics club.
Yes.
Correct. Now, if we include the 6 individuals who we know were directly approached by the professor...
In other words...
We're up to 7. One more person left.
Which means...
Assuming our theory is correct, there should be one student remaining who was led astray by the professor.
Yeah.
Who could it be? Maybe the student's actually been involved in illegal activity this whole time, and we just haven't caught wind of it yet?
Yes.
Perhaps you're right. We must figure out who this last individual is as soon as possible. I wonder what that Japanese up at the top left says. From Kento?
Kento.
Hello? What is it, Kento? Oh, sis, thank God. Where are you right now? At HQ with Yagami-san. Yagami-san's with you? Perfect. I'm actually at the Papo in front of the station right now, and I've got a bit of a situation.
Hey.
What's wrong? Well,
Hey, you little bastard!
Oh, crap. Kento? Sorry, call you right back.
Hey.
What? What was that? Everything all right?
No.
I'm not sure, but it sounds like Kento's in some kind of trouble. No, that's not good. Where is he? He said he's at the Papo in front of the station. Come on, let's go. Oh, okay. Was she not planning to go? I'll wait here, Yagami. You go on ahead.
Oh, we're off then?
She's still expressing surprise that we're gonna go save her brother. Wait, in front of the station, like the train station or whatever, right? It's not inside the school. No, it wouldn't be, because Yagami would have said something like, "Oh, I shouldn't leave right now." Here. Yeah. So.
Let me with you.
Yeah. No, I'm right here, Amasawa. We'll see if we can jog. While we're on the path, I will try to make this the last comment that I made, because we talked a lot about it in the episode where it happened. I addressed it again in the episode that followed. The dance troupe storyline. Amasawa, you are coming, yes? Here's maybe and I don't remember if I made this specific comment on it previous to this. The trouble with that storyline is that it broke what I feel is the pact that Judgment and Lost Judgment makes with the player. That you will encounter people who are doing criminal things, and they are hurting people, and they are extorting people, and in some cases, like, engaging in... Whoa! in forms of like sexual battery and stuff like that. But as part of the storyline, as part of going through it, you are going to be able to beat them up in a super violent and satisfying way, at which point they will be turned over to the police, alive and only marginally harmed, where they will be held responsible for their actions. And that story, that dancing storyline denied us that. Okay. Okay, I really thought I was dodging that. Come on, Yagami. Oh, Yagami's bleeding. Fox McCloud does not want to go. He says police station, gas station, truck station. Oh, was it? Or were you saying like, oh, yeah. Oh, I think I'm out of surrender juice. I honestly can't tell if that guy just hit me. Well, I really want to do the counter on him. Oh, that was a very narrow... I want to do the counter. Hold on. Wow, there's like an eighth of a second where you can do that. And now Yagami's still bleeding out.
Really, guys?
I know that Amasawa has seen Yagami fight from time to time. I just don't remember, like, to what extent. Speaking of...
Yagami-san.
Alive, quote-unquote alive, remember when you smashed that guy's face with a sledgehammer? He's either dead or... Oh, no, he's dead. Yeah, like, no, that... I do remember exactly, because it only happened once the whole game. When Yagami, like, wound up like Paul Bunyan and just, like... Well, actually more like Jack Nicklaus. Like, just, like, with a golf swing... No, that man's head was largely paste after that. It was ridiculous. I do very much remember that. No, he's super dead. No, you can't survive that. Putting his head on a railroad track would have been less damaging. I'll ask the clerk inside. I'll scope out the area. Amasawa, isn't that bag... Why, is this Kento's? I don't have any knowledge of Kento's bag. It's Kento's. The wallet I gave him for his birthday is inside.
Seriously?
No way. I'll ask the clerk what happened. You stay here, Amasawa.
Yes.
Sorry, Fox McCloud is saying, we're on the side of just a sledgehammer! I see, so you have no idea where he went.
Yagami-san!
What happened to Kento? Apparently, he was here with a woman in her late 30s who was dressed, amorously.
Huh?
An older woman? They both got dragged into a black car by some guys who looked like Yakuza. They just took off.
No way!
Yagami-san, do you think it was the Neo-Keihin gang? Maybe they grabbed him because we're getting closer to the professor. It's hard to say. Whatever the reason, we need to find Kento-kun. If only we could figure out where they took him.
What should I do?
Kento, where did you go? Can we call Detective Dog? Track down Kento-kun. Well, let's talk to Amasawa. Yagami-san, can you think of some way to find my brother? The only clues he left behind are the bag and the wallet he dropped. Actually, I think we can put those to use. How? It's going to be Detective Dog. Let's just say a good detective always has the tool for the job, and this particular tool has a nose of its own. Wink. Huh? Amasawa, Detective Dog is your dog.
I believe in you, buddy. Who's a good boy? All right, let's go.
Woof.
Oh? You know where he went?
I see.
Ranpo. How could I forget about him? All right, Ranpo, this is your time to shine.
Woof.
All right, so now we follow
This way,
Ranpo.
Oh, we're off then?
Now, I do not care so much if Yagami
something?
gets hit by a car, but no, he does know the way. I do not want Ranpo to get hit by a car.
This way, huh? Got something?
Another name that I never once learned in the entire playthrough, Ranpo. In my head, he has been Rantu the entire time, and I talked about this many episodes ago. It's because that was the name of the dog in the Girl and the Dolphin Island, whatever it was called. I can remember the name of a dog in a book that I probably last read more than 25 years ago, but I cannot remember the name of this dog right now. Kento-kun should be somewhere around here. What is this place?
Let go of me, you bastard!
Kento!
Hey, that's Kento's voice. Guess now it's not the time to mess with the intercom. Will there be a combo kung fu fight move with Ranpo? Yagami like kicks a guy and he falls down, and then Ranpo like tears out their throat. Kento-kun.
Yagami-san!
Hey, Yagami-san!
Huh?
Where the fuck do you want?
Right, like telling you is gonna change how this goes. I'll take every single one of you on. Bring it!
What's this guy's deal? Let's just kill his ass!
Let's go.
So who do you think is this? So the woman back there, is that the woman that the clerk described as having dressed amorously? Because she just looked like she's wearing like a business skirt to me. Maybe I'm not like looking very carefully right now because of all the fight, but... Oh, can I pick up the like sectional? No, it doesn't seem that way. Okay, Yagami, you can do your handstand. Didn't they just say he got into a car? How did the dog follow a car? Why do they need a car to go down the street? Well, if they're kidnapping someone, it makes a lot more sense than doing Assassin's Creed Syndicate and like twisting his arm behind his back. Like, people would notice, I feel like. So they throw him into the car, drive him down. There's less opportunity for bystanders to see.
Kento-kun?
Are we allowed to ask who that was, though? Are you all right? Hey, blah blah blah.
Yagami-san, I'm sorry.
Let's get out of here. So that woman just F's off. She just leaves, and we don't even ask who it was.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
Sorry.
Sorry, sis.
Hey!
Apologies are appreciated, but they aren't explanations. Now, explain yourself.
So, actually,
She was...
I think this expression will never not be funny. The sugar baby, sugar mama.
She was my sugar mama.
What was that?
I'm sorry, you're what?
so,
Well, if a lady wants to date a younger guy, and she's willing to spend the money,
Yeah, no, I get it. Opposite of sugar daddy. That's not what I meant. Turns out she's also seeing this guy who's kind of like in the Yakuza. You little idiot. I want that to be voiced. I want it to be voiced. I want her to say, you little idiot.
Hey.
How did you meet her in the first place? Well, I, used the professor's site.
Huh?
What?
What?
You've been posting there? In that horrible place?
Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really sorry.
What?
I can't believe you. All while we were chasing the professor. Kenta-kun, how long have you been doing this? For, like, 2 months now. I started pretty soon after I first heard about the site from a friend. I was just reading the site and posting for fun, nothing serious. Then one day, I got a DM from the professor. It said, I'm well aware of your looks and social skills. You could make some serious spending money doing this, and had a little job description after that.
No way.
So you got the idea after the professor whispered in your ear. What was the job description? How was it described? I want to know what the listing was like.
Now that you mention it.
Yagami-san, the professor's goal is to make 8 students become delinquent in some way or another, correct?
Yeah.
And we're pretty sure we know who 7 of them are.
Which means...
Well, perhaps that last student is actually Kento?
I guess so.
You know, could be. It really seems like they should have grabbed the woman and asked her some questions, because maybe she knows who the professor is. It's weird as shit that they just let her run off. Me?
Yeah.
Yep, and just like that, we have our 8.
Hey.
Well, Amasawa, now that we've got a full list, we can finally work out the professor's motive.
Yes.
Yes, I think we're finally ready for some serious sleuthing. Firstly, the professor's motive isn't monetary, so what other motives could we possibly theorize? Let's see. For money, for love, for revenge, there are plenty of potential reasons. Yeah, that's true.
Amasawa.
Say, Amasawa, what do you think would have happened if we weren't there to set those kids straight? What would have happened? Well, they obviously would have continued their delinquent behavior.
Yeah.
That's safe to say, but it's also very likely that they would have been caught eventually. Every time a crime is repeated, the risk of discovery increases. In all of the cases we looked into, the police would have caught the kids eventually, if they took the investigation seriously enough. I suppose that's true.
Which means...
Oh, so in other words...
Yeah.
There's actually an audio clip that they use all the time of Amasawa saying so in other words, which was actually the text on screen, and they played a different audio clip. Morgenthau is asking why 8, though. Why the number 8? No idea. Could be an... I can't predict. The 8 plus the Yagami represents the 9 circles of hell. Oh, wait, did I say plus Yagami? Plus the professor. Wait, is there any possibility that the 8 crimes that were being committed in any way relate to, like, the 9 circles of Dante's hell? I don't know them off the top of my head, but 9, if you include the professor, would be interesting. Anyway, we can predict the outcome the professor was hoping for. Well, they'd get caught and punished, which could potentially lead to they'd regret it later. And stayed on their delinquent course. Would they have joined the Neo-Keihin gang? I don't get the sense that the professor was in super tight with the Neo-Keihin gang, given the fact that Koga was calling the professor a brat. So, I'm gonna go with they'd get caught and punished, since that's literally what they just said was gonna happen. There's a good chance they would have gotten caught and punished for their crimes in some way. Yeah, that seems to be the most natural outcome. Most likely sent to an institution of some sort, expelled from school, and possibly even turned into a criminal case. Oh, what if that was the goal?
Huh?
Huh?
In other words...
That's the clip. Why did they not use that when she actually said in other words? You're saying the professor's goal was to get those students out of Serio by getting them in enough trouble to be expelled or incarcerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a theory for now.
I see.
But it does make quite a lot of sense in this scenario.
Amasawa.
Let's see if this line of thought leads us to the professor's identity. We can move on if not. So, what do the 8 people in our list have in common? What indeed? What was the professor's criteria for selecting these students? Hang on, these are... What is it? Nah, it's just a coincidence, right?
Kento-kun.
Notice something, Kento-kun?
No.
Well, you were talking about what they might have in common, so I just gave it a thought and... But there's no way I'm right. I'm terrible at that detective stuff, you know?
Hey,
Kento, just tell us. You little idiot.
So,
All 8 students,
so actually,
we were on the cultural festival committee.
What was that?
What? No. Is it Itakura? Is Itakura the professor? Hold on. No. Did Itakura do it to set everybody up and ruin their lives? Oh, I will be so happy if that's what happened.
Kento!
Are you sure? Yeah, there should be a picture somewhere. Found it. I still have it on my phone, even 6 months later. Oh my god, see the 8 of us. There's 9 people in the photograph, Kento. There's 9 of those. 9 of you. Huh? ...
Really?
It can't be.
No way.
Yagami-san, doesn't this mean?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. We know someone with the motive for turning these 8 Serio students into bad apples.
In other words...
And this theory ties everything we've learned about the professor together into a neat little lead.
what?
What do you mean? Let's start by summarizing the professor's motive. At this point, it's safe to say revenge.
Yes.
I agree. Revenge sounds like the most fitting motive if the end goal was to get those students expelled or punished. Next up, we've already deduced the professor has an advanced knowledge of computer programming and networking. Considering the complicated Darknet forum, the cheat tool, and the betting site for the Genbukai, I suspect those skills are what drove Koga to curry favor with the professor to benefit the Neo-Keihin gang. Also, that delinquent who went to the girls' bar, Kizuna Ashiwara, heard something important when he saw Koga. He'd called someone a brat after hanging up his phone. He was likely talking about the professor. A brat? Lastly, and this is the big one, there's only one person from the cultural committee who hasn't been caught in any kind of delinquency. Someone who definitely has the motive to seek revenge on the other committee members. Hold on, I'm just wondering, Kento, you're starting to put it together? And someone with such advanced computer skills, I wouldn't be surprised if that knowledge extended to websites too.
I think we finally know who the professor is.
Yo, Yagami, can you dumb it down for me a little bit?
I just can't believe it. It's unfortunate, but she fits the profile to a T.
In other words...
You're right. The professor's true identity... Wait, who did he just say you're right to? Himself? The professor's true identity is... Kotoko Itakura.
What? But Itakura...
Don't you see? The cultural festival wasn't just a flop for Serio High. It was a catastrophic blow to Itakura's ego. It may have been due to her own attitude, but she had to deal with committee members arguing with her, blowing off their duties, and even boycotting meetings. The cultural festival was destined to be a failure with that kind of situation, but she still took it so hard that she stopped coming to school entirely. Who would really be surprised to find out she's had a grudge against her former committee members this whole time?
Real.
No way.
Yes.
Not only that, Ito-Kura-san is very proficient with computers. She put together that mystery trick encyclopedia in no time, and is professional level work. She also tutored Sakura-kun in this robotics club with his programming.
But
The professor was selling answers to mock exams and stuff on the site, right?
So I like the very sort of relaxed and controlled turn, followed by the total freakout.
You'd have to steal from that cram school's computers or something. Only a professional hacker could pull that off.
About that, there's still something that's been coming to mind every so often. At first, it was just a curious discovery that didn't mean much of anything. What is it, Amasawa?
Excuse me.
Well, when I had you go undercover at Todoroki's gym, do you remember when Itakura-san found a photo of Fudo Ushikiri in the weekly magazine? Yeah, I remember.
That being said,
Well, I did some more research on that picture. Turns out the article it appeared in was pulled several years ago due to legal claims.
What was that?
What?
yes.
I tried reverse image searching the photo, but it seems all digital versions of the article were pulled as well. My guess would be the Omi Alliance pressured them into self-censorship at some point. Chad is also like really loving this twist. Whatever the case, the fact is that no one should have been able to find that picture unless they somehow access the publisher's servers.
In other words,
So you think that Itakura might actually be that good at hacking?
Yes.
It's quite likely. Recall how Fudo Ushikiri turned out to be the key to the payback boxer case. What if Itakura-san fed us that information so Oshikiri-kun's crimes would be exposed and he'd face criminal charges? No way. What kind of high schooler would be thinking that far ahead?
That being said,
I just can't believe it. Not yet. Not the Itakura-san I know.
Masawa.
Well, let's ask her to come meet with us. We should ask her face to face. And hope the only thing that comes of it is a good laugh.
yes.
Agreed. She usually drops by the club room around this time. I'll try reaching out to her.
Amasawa-senpai!
Did you need something? I don't have a Cassandra Lee Morris voice at all. I don't have anything for her.
Oh,
Ah, there you are, Itakura. We just had a quick question for you. Won't take long. What?
Yagami-san!
She can't get away! Oh no, she locked them in. What the hell? Come on! It's stuck.
No way!
I think she locked us in.
Really?
Wait, did she bring a key with her in case this happened? Yagami, the vents are pouring in chlorine gas. She must have come really prepared. Ugh. Open, damn it! Blah 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 saying they live in there anyway, so it's a dream come true for Amasawa. Yeah, they probably have like a whole box of ramen, nutrition bars. Knowing this game, probably just unrefrigerated sushi just on those shelving in there. On the shelving. Uh-oh, the sun's gone down. We really spent a lot of time putting that case together. Where is she? Yeah, maybe she didn't wait directly outside the door after locking it. Hey, you! A girl just came out of here, right? Kodako Ikura. Itakura.
Yo, Itakura-san? Yeah, I saw her.
Which way did she go?
Out towards the front gate. Point that way.
Outside. Okay. Thank you. Oh, yes. Hello to Ronin. Yes, we've discovered the true identity of the professor, I think. Damn it, we can't lose her. See her anywhere?
Yagami-san!
Look! Itakura.
Hey!
Kento, I'll take it from here. It's probably best that you don't get involved.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go read my manga again. Remember when I used to do that all the time? I kind of miss it.
Itakura.
Running through the courtyard wiped me out. Exercise really isn't my thing.
Will you talk to us now?
Knowing how perceptive you are, I bet you knew what we were going to ask just by looking around the room, right? But no, it's nothing more than a theory. I'd really prefer to learn this was a misunderstanding.
So, Itakura, if we wanted to run our theory by you, would you deny it? Would you?
How weak. Nothing's worse than detectives who don't trust their hunches. Yep, I'm the professor. I'm the one who turned all the cultural committee members into delinquents.
What?
No way! You're kidding me! When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Isn't that right? I'm a Sawa-senpai. A real detective faces every truth equally. But why? You seemed like you were finally happy in the MRC. Tell me, why?
It's time to talk. Why did you go through all this effort?
Well, when I first made the website, it was really just because I was bored at home. Eventually, all sorts of people started posting. People venting about their parents or their teachers. People who needed quick money. People craving revenge. And the more advice I gave them to achieve their desires, the more popular I became. Before I really knew it, people had started calling me the professor. Well, why did you meddle with the lives of your cultural committee? Was that for revenge? Revenge? Kinda. I mean, I just figured it'd be easier for me to go back to school if I got rid of all the people I hate. But now, none of that matters.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Professor.
Koga!
Koga, you're late.
My apologies.
She summoned Koga here to protect herself?
I see now. Her confession was just to buy her time.
Koga, you've really hit rock bottom. So broke that you have to lean on a schoolgirl?
Goodness, you really are unbelievable. I suppose you're only capable of surface-level observations, after all.
What?
She's already a professional-level hacker. We've partnered with her because we are genuinely impressed with her talent. We don't think of her as a mere high schooler, like you seem to be doing. Not that I should expect someone as narrow-minded as yourself to see the true value of the professor. After all, a hacker's age is irrelevant to their work. Consider the U.S. Department of Defense. Their website was hacked by a high schooler, and they in turn praised his achievement. Or the recent incident of a 16-year-old netting tens of millions of yen through cryptocurrency. I've even heard of criminal organizations in South America training children to be hackers. This proves my premise. A hacker's age has nothing to do with ability. We intend to nurture her talents for the sake of the Neo Keihin gang, to surpass even our previous efforts.
He wants to get even bigger than the Keihin gang was originally.
Koga, tell me, what's your scheme here? I know you weren't turning all these kids rotten without some kind of reason.
We shall utilize the dark web to create the greatest black market ever. The student forum and gambling website were nothing but practice runs for our true vision.
You're making a black market site?
My firm, Koga & Company, has been dealing in illicit goods such as firearms for several years now.
Come to think of it, he's been selling guns to the public in Kamurocho too. I don't know if it's going to advance, assuming that it doesn't. Ronan was asking, did I see this coming? Absolutely not. No, not even a little bit, not 5%. Itakura was not anywhere in my suspect list. I didn't know who it would be. I figured like it had to be somebody that would be like known to us, but I could not possibly fathom who it was because the only person who was connected enough to for it to be true was Amasawa, and it didn't make sense. Like, the most outlandish version of this that I could think of is that Amasawa set up the mystery herself because she wanted to test her wits against a true detective, but it wouldn't make any sense because these cases have been going on for months before Yagami arrived, and who would she have set it up for? What would have been the whole point? So the only person I could think of was Amasawa. Itakura never, ever crossed my mind.
Unfortunately, the underground economy is already flooded with competition, not to mention your meddling. It's nigh impossible for newcomers such as ourselves to break into a market where there are such dominant powers. However, the dark web is still largely unexplored territory. An entirely untraceable, secure territory at that. Despite these benefits, no one has capitalized on this untapped potential within our country. This means the entirety of online criminal business in all of Japan is ours for the taking.
Itakura, this sound like something you want to do? Help Koga enable violence across the whole country?
I just can't take the horrible cliquishness of it all anymore. Ever since that godforsaken festival.
Just like I thought, she's still trying to cope with what happened in the Cultural Festival Committee.
And it's not like it ends with school. I'm trying to fit in at some desk job for the rest of my life. Just the thought of it makes me sick. I refuse to live in constant fear of getting excluded for no reason beyond getting on someone popular's bad side. That's why I've dedicated all my efforts to what's most important in life. The strength to stand alone. Itakura-san.
Well, Professor, let's take our leave.
Please, it's too cold out.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Koga. Let's go. We have plenty of work to do.
Itakura, stop. Are you really sure about this? Joining up with such terrible people?
I've made up my mind.
Yagami-san, I suggest you stop interfering. Unless you want to see what'll happen to the girl if you don't. Yes, just stay right where you are. Heed my words. Pursue us, and the girl gets one right through the skull.
Damn it.
Itakura-san, why?
Hello to Samalander. Yagami-san, what should we do? She wasn't shivering, she was trembling.
What? Excuse me.
What are you talking about, Yagami-san? Never mind. Our next move is to track down Itakura and figure out how to rescue her. Would it really be a rescue, though? She rather seemed to prefer leaving with them. So Samalander said, I'm just getting here and I am so lost. Samalander, we have uncovered the identity of the professor. And it's Itakura. I just can't believe it. I love this twist so much. I really, really, really do like it. Yep, that is right. The young woman who was Usami-chan in 13 Sentinels is the mastermind behind it all. We just have to find her and talk her out of it somehow. Messing around with that gang is only going to end poorly for her. Plus,
Amasawa.
we can't let a member of the MRC go down the wrong path that easily. That'd make me one crappy advisor, wouldn't it? I was about to say, like, Yagami, it's not her choice to go with the criminals. Like, she's a minor, you're an adult, you have to stop her. But then when they pulled the guns, you're absolutely right. And one more thing. You've forgotten an important point, Amasawa.
After all,
Truly
artful detective can solve incidents before they even occur, right?
You got me there. We sure have our work cut out for us, though. Let's head back to the club room. I want to talk out our next steps.
Yes.
Hello to Marinda is laughing at the true identity of the professor. That's either really good or really bad. I'm not sure which. Oh, no, it's really good. It is really good. And hello to Marinda. Sounds good. I never saw this coming. I love what tied them all together. I love that
Yagami-san!
Kento, like, here's what I like about it. Kento hasn't really been super present or paying attention, so it's not like he suddenly realized. It was only once he saw all their photographs all together that he put it together. And aside from that, Yagami and Amasawa didn't know what linked them all together. And as soon as they said that all the victims of the professor, all the targets of the professor were on the culture club, it immediately snapped into place of who would be devious enough to have set something like this up, who would have had the computer skills and the hacking skills. Like, it all makes sense. And the best part is she was right in front of us the whole time. Like she was introduced early in the dancer's storyline. I really, really like this twist. Where's Itakura? We're not sure. Koga from the Neo Keihin gang took her. What? She got kidnapped?
No.
Itakura-san seems to want to go with him. Wait, what? Okay, Kento, take it down a notch. So, what do we do now? We get to work.
Right.
Wow, I mean, I get it, but how? Where do you think she went? Do you know anything about the Neo Keihin gang having a hideout?
Nope.
Back when I was investigating the robotics club, I found a spot that seemed like it was theirs. Unfortunately, they've probably moved on from there by now. Oh.
But
Luckily, we do have one lead to work with. I actually memorized the license plate of the car that took Itakura. Huh? What? You did? That's crazy. Yeah, it was basically out of instinct, although the police would be the only ones who could do something with it. Should we file a report then? That you saw a minor get kidnapped?
nope.
No, that should be our last resort. Getting the police involved guarantees Itakura ends up in some serious trouble in the end. Ah, that's true. Should we split up and search the town ourselves? We know they have to be in base somewhere in Ichinjo.
No.
No, that'd take forever with just 3 of us. Ichinjo's freaking huge. Good point. Wait, maybe we could actually make it work.
What?
If we have the car's license plate number, there is one way that we might be able to track it down. We could ask Tsukumo. He could put out, he could look at the security surveillance footage. That's how we got the pictures of the people that were breaking into Yokohama 99. We could also ask all the Serio contacts, but why would they know a random license plate number? And I can't imagine that Itakura would pick up the phone, so we could ask Tsukumo. Before I go ahead, let me just take a quick look here in chat. Grumpy is petting a kitten, and hello to Moo, who said they're over a year old and they're huge. I don't think we can technically still call them kittens. Yeah, animals age quickly, don't they? Like, a person at 1 is still a very, very young person, but cats at 1 are basically cats. Marinda says solving crimes before they happen. That's starting to sound like thought crime to me. Moo saying, why isn't dinner cooking itself right now, Grumpy? Wait, I missed it. I missed a comment. Scroll up. Can we hire a live-in chef? Samalander says, this is my win the lottery fantasy. Really, a live-in chef. So like a Homer Simpson situation. It's Christmas Day, 3 a.m. I've got a rumble in my tummy. when he went to visit Danny DeVito in his mansion. Moo says, we've already ordered out too much. I'm coming down to make pasta soon. Just wish I didn't have to move to do it. Italian has many of the same letters in it as Indian, so they're basically the same. Sailor says pasta, pasta, pasta. Moo says, I'm Chef Batmoo. More pastas, more like Chef Boyardee. Hey, Chef Boyardee is really good. Here's the only thing about Chef Boyardee. I'm fine with every part of it, except that if you look on the ingredients, high fructose corn syrup is number 1, 2, and 3, and I'm so disappointed in it because it's not that I'm allergic or anything. It's just I personally lost a lot of weight when I just made the decision to stop eating eating or drinking anything with high fructose corn syrup in it. It was the only change I made, and I suddenly got a lot healthier. Ruination Ron wants to get a kitten. Marina saying hello to Moo, pasta, and reminds me of an old anime. Which, the Chef Boyardee or the pasta, and hello to Moo, who says hello to everybody in chat. Samlander hasn't had Chef Boyardee in 20 years or more. Yeah, it's been a really long time for me as well. Maybe I wouldn't like it now if I had it, but my memories of it are fond. Moo grew up in Chef Boyardee, thought pasta came out of a can until I was in my 20s. And here's the thing, when we were young, Moo, it probably didn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. It was probably way less of that, whatever else it was. Okay, let's ask Tsukumo, because having him put a trace on the license plate, at least here in America, that's what would work. I know this super hacker, Tsukumo.
It can't be.
Oh, right, Tsukumo-san. Let's ask him to help out. Maybe he can hack into some of the surveillance cameras the police have around town. If he can do that, maybe he can find the car for us. That seems unlikely, even for someone as talented as Tsukumo-san. We're talking about a government authority here. You've got a point. I don't want to see him getting in any trouble either. Besides, I read somewhere that the police only install their cameras along the major roads and pedestrian areas. Since they don't cover the alleys or other discrete areas of town, I doubt the surveillance system would do us much good at this point. Amasawa, I'm sorry, I really have to disagree with you there. If you can trace the car up to a certain intersection, and then it doesn't leave that intersection, you have a very specific search radius. Perhaps it's worth looking into it as a last resort, but I think it'd be better to consider other options for now. Maybe you're right. In that case, what should we do? Well, the next option is to ask all the Serio contacts. Oh, right, there is one thing that might work. We ask everyone to lend us a hand.
What?
Who's everyone exactly? All the students I've met here at Serio. Ichinjo's definitely too big for the three of us, but not for dozens of people. The numbers are on our side that way. Oh, now there's a way to go about it. Yeah, since we know the car's license plate, we won't have to worry about false IDs either. This could actually work.
Yeah.
It's time to work together and crack it for good. Salamander says, I just had pancakes and now I want curry. I've not had a lot of curry. Look, here we all are.
Hey guys, sorry to have you come here so late. Like I told you before, the cops can't get involved in this. That's why I need your help.
Sure, but why do you need us, though?
Well, it's to rescue Itokura. Beyond that, though, I can't share the details. Sorry.
Hey, Yagami. This is weird. Beyond a couple of exceptions, everyone here was on the Cultural Festival Committee at the same time as Itokura. And she was the one who we all kind of,
Oh, now that you mention it.
And you've been after this professor person. Is that related to this somehow?
Well, look who'd be
I
right.
can't say it's unrelated.
I didn't press a
I
button
also
there.
can't say each of you had no part in the events leading up to this either.
I see. I don't know what's going on, but I knew we'd have to face the music someday.
Same here. And it's always bugged me. I feel terrible that I've never summoned the courage to apologize either.
Yeah, but I was basically just a shadow member on the committee, remember? I only joined in the first place because I drew the short straw.
Yeah, but you still showed up at meetings, at least at first. Even though all you did was eat our snacks.
Huh. Did I?
Yeah, and you gave Kotoko a real attitude, too.
In fact, you were one of the first to give her the cold shoulder. Don't tell me you forgot either.
Did I really?
You sure did. So don't go pretending none of this applies to you.
Guys, I just need you to do one thing for me. I'm gonna give you a license plate number. I want you to search the town high and low for that car. It's a black four-door sedan. And I'm talking about covering the entire town. So we're gonna need serious numbers on this. Ask your friends to lend a hand if you can.
Yagami, don't you worry about it. If you need the help, I'll round up Made in Heaven for you.
Oh, that'd be a huge help.
Yagami-san, you have the Robotics Club support as well. Itokura-san is a highly valued member of the team.
And you know the rabbits would be happy to help if it's for you, Yagami-san. We're out and about so much, we know the city like the back of our hands. We'll find that car no problem.
Thank you, Kitagawa. Nishizono. All right, everyone. Hit me up the moment you see that car.
Understood.
So Mirinda actually put it in chat.
What do you mean Itokura-senpai's missing?
I don't know all the details. Let's just trust Yagami-san on this one. Besides, if one of our own is in danger, then we're all in danger until we mount a rescue.
Yeah, you're right. So, what's the plan, Okitagawa?
We're going to handle this the way we know best. Here's our strategy.
All right, rabbits. Time for us to comb the town. Go! Hop, step, rabbit! Woo!
Huh? A pro? At what?
No. She goes by the Professor.
Huh? That's English, though.
Yeah, sure is. Get with the times.
Oh, you little asshole! Don't you throw that boring bullshit at me! The Japanese word is sensei!
You're so embarrassing.
Made in Heaven rides again tonight, fellas! Let's fire 'em up! Yeah!
Thank you, everyone.
Yagami-san.
I'll ask the Karate Kid guys and my girlfriends to hang out.
Wait, girlfriends plural? I thought he only had the one sugar mama. Oh, yeah, Samalander, if you weren't here for this, turns out Kento-kun was also a user of the professor's website, and he was using it to basically set himself up on dates with older women who were looking to be a sugar mama to someone. So that's a thing that happened. Before I hit go on this, Mirinda put in chat the line that flashed by so quickly that I completely missed it, and it was parentheses. This was Yagami thinking to himself, "Look who'd be right at home in the MRC." Mirinda then asks, "Who were the rabbits?" The rabbits that's the name of the Serio High dance troupe. So Nishizono there is the leader of the Serio Rabbits, and they're the dance troupe that Yagami helped to lead. Mirinda likes that the biker gang is just... Yeah, Sam Lander said the dance team. The biker gang is just chilling there. Thanks. Fox McCloud says the only way we know how. Oh, also, just real quick question. So, every single time the Serio Rabbits had a competition, there would be this voice clip where they'd all put their hands in, and then in what was very distinctly sounding like Japanese voice actors would go the hop, step, rabbits, wow, or whatever it was. But here they use a different clip that sounded like a group of American voice actors. I'm not, I honestly thought, oh, we're going to get to hear the Japanese chant again, but then it didn't happen because they also have an American version. Why didn't they use the American version for the American dub? It's just some of the decisions in this game are very surprising to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but make sure you don't spill all the details of the case to them, okay?
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Yagami-san.
While you two focus your efforts on the crowd support, I'll attempt a different approach. What would that be? I'm gonna reach out to Itakura-san's parents. They might be able to talk some sense into her. I see. Although, it'd be bad if they get the police involved. Yeah, Amasawa, that sounds like a very... You either go to the police and the parents and you let them handle it, which to like. I actually do understand within the fiction of Lost Judgment why Yagami would say if we go to the police, it's going to put her in mortal danger from the Neo-Keihin gang because they really are not too concerned about collateral damage, and it would destroy her personally, professionally. Like, she'd potentially be facing criminal charges for a lot of what she had a hand in, and Yagami's trying to extricate her from that without getting the authorities involved so that she doesn't, like, wind up ruining her life over what was admittedly a super bad idea. Nonetheless, in the real world, Yagami himself would be subject to extreme social and criminal penalties for not notifying the police and the parents as soon as a minor was sort of like going willingly or not. She's currently missing and in the custody of people that are not her parents, and they need to know about this. So we're drawing a pretty bright line between what makes sense in the fiction of the game versus what Yagami would be absolutely, unmistakably compelled to do in the real world.
Yes.
I'll make sure to observe her parents' reactions as I speak with them. I'll only proceed if they appear to understand the situation. All right, that sounds good. Well then, I am off. Morgenthau says, I was wondering too, but you probably can't finish this without having finished all the clubs. Oh, yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. This does not unlock until you've done all of the other school stories. All right, I think it's time to check out that Neo-Keihin gang hideout I found when I was helping out the robotics club. Pretty sure it was in the building on East Surukami Highway with the Yamakawa towel sign. So, is that way over here? Yeah. Yeah, for anybody else coming in, I also attempted to go on another date with Emily-chan, but she is currently ghosting Yagami. He paid the 2,000 yen entrance fee to get into Girls Bite, and he went batting to the batting cages with her, and then gave her several stacks of the same set of earrings until her passion meter was up, and she's like, wow, that was really fun. I really enjoyed my time with you, Yagami-chan. And okay. But then it did not advance the storyline.
Really, guys?
Ronan is saying that's why you don't bother with Emily, like she's not worth it. Speaking of things that are worth it, I do not know what he smashed on the way in, but this woman is not going to give him a very good price. Okay, so let's have some, yeah, we haven't had this, or this, or this, or this, and some oolong tea. Okay, now that doesn't quite fill Yagami up, does it? So we're going to try to fill up the rest of his bar. Oh, what is this? The spicy beef soup. That filled him all the way up.
Starving.
Yagami bought all
tasty.
that food
Thanks.
for the same price as one pair of Emily earrings. Yeah, I don't know if it's by design or just I have a very different sensibility about it, but one storytelling point that both Judgment games have really struggled with is any sort of compelling romance narrative. Because in the first game, there was a few different women to date. In this game, as far as we can tell from the results screen that we got at the very end, there's one woman to date, and not one of the potential matches for Yagami strikes me as being a good potential match for Yagami. Also, you know what's always stuck in my mind about the first game? There was so in the first Judgment, there was a whole interaction between Yagami and Saori-san, where like that was the point in the first game when Yagami went out with Saori to like get her dressed up to go undercover at the cabaret bar. And when she came out, there was a choice of different dialogue options, and I chose one without understanding what it meant. And the end result was Yagami telling Saori-san that during the time that he was like dating Mafiu, he always secretly had a thing for her, which was not what I meant to say, which she immediately called out as like, don't humor me. Like, it felt like it felt like she interpreted what he said as being false and lying to her to build up her self-esteem, which she immediately smacked down, which was appropriate. And I remember feeling awful after I chose that. I did not realize what the option was. It's one of those examples in a narrative game. This is not really a narrative game, but where you choose something without understanding what it means, and you just feel really bad about it afterwards. Okay, it looks like the lights are off. Maybe I should take a quick peek inside anyway. Ronan is saying that Yagami is supposed to be single until the story says otherwise, and they go all in, but she will either die at the end or go to another country. I can say that no matter who Yagami might have dated in the first game, he's clearly single in this one. Because there's no game import. There's no save game import. The place is deserted. No surprise there, gangs usually don't keep their hideouts once they get made, unless they have a good reason. Okay, I guess we're going to assume that he made a thorough search of the facility. Guess this was a bust. Hey, yo, there you are, Yagami. Koga-san really did call it. Nah, I don't really have time to deal with you. Well, we got our orders, so you better get ready to bleed out. But I do agree that I do feel like Yagami is canonically supposed to be single, because it's just, to me, it's so obvious based on so many like environment or like story clues that get inserted into it that Yagami and Mafiu still have a spark between them. Whether or not that ever gets delivered on, I don't know. Sometimes in the real world, you continue to know and interact with people that you previously had a romantic relationship with, and part of being a, you know... How did I get gassed? Look, he's all like, he's got that blinded haze over his eyes. The thing is, though, Judgment very plainly does not take place in the real world, so when they're doing a lot of what I consider to be foreshadowing about Yagami and Mafiu, and then they go through 2 complete games without them really, like, getting together, it's like, are they destined for one another? Am I misreading this? One wears black on white, the other one wears white on black. Nothing game. You're not gonna get these 2 crazy kids back together. Oh, there's no end to them.
What's up? Hey, these small fries boring you, Yagami-san? Now this is becoming an official pain in the ass.
Oh wait, is he on our side for some reason? Oh no.
That bums me out. Hey, weak sauce ganging up on a guy like that. Guess you need to learn a lesson or two, huh?
Dumbass!
You motherfuckers! I don't give a shit if you're boxers or pro wrestlers or whatever the fuck! Thank God I wore my Velcro warmsies.
Former OPBF champ, go Todoroki!
I'm gonna turn you all into paste!
Coach!
Hey, Coach, can I jump in too?
Yeah!
Get him, Oshikiri! This is for Yagami! We're all running wild tonight!
Kill him!
Feeding time, fuckers! Kill him! Tear him to goddamn bits!
Yeah.
Fight me!
Yagami-san, how about you and me tango?
Damn it.
Hey,
Hey, Meathead, I'm up first.
Kenya-kun!
Hey, what? Kenya-kun, looking sharp. Guess giving your dad the old 1-2 really put some hairs on your chest, huh?
Where is Pops anyway?
Oh, he's done for. Guess you whipped his ass a little too good, huh? He just gets shit-faced all day, every day now, pissing and moaning about how he lost his wife and kid.
What's that?
My dad is...
But hey, none of that matters now that we're all here, does it? I can't believe I get to fight Yagami-san and Kenya-kun today. This is the best day of the year.
Fox McCloud is like, Todoroki just carries that belt around under his clothes at all times. Oh, bye, Yagami. See you later. What the?
You bastard!
See you later. I gotta go find your boss. Sorry, everybody, but you've got this from here.
Yeah.
No worries, see you around.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Hey.
Don't be down, meathead. I'm more than enough for you alone.
Can't lose.
Now bring it.
Come on!
You gotta watch your mouth, Kenya-kun. Don't blame it on me if I send you crying to daddy.
I want a cutscene. I want to see a cutscene of them fighting. Markintosh, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great night. Oh, thank goodness for Todoroki and his crew. But I'm out of clues. Nishizono. Yeah?
Yagami-san!
Hello, Yagami-san? I found it. The license plate you're looking for.
What was that?
What? Where?
So,
In front of the office complex on Hiakai Highway? Kiai? There's a shady-looking guy outside, too. I'll send you a picture. She took a picture of her friend. So, wait, do we think that she was like... Here's what she did. She had her friend pose so it wouldn't look like she was taking a picture of Koga. That's what I think happened there. It's just funny to me that she's in there. Koga! That means we know where his hideout is.
excuse me?
I'll keep an eye on him for now. Can you be here soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll head over there right now. But if it gets dangerous, get out of there immediately, got it? Let everyone else know you found the car, too. Okay? Got it. Bobby says, every time I check my phone if someone's calling me, when Yagami's phone vibrates. Alright, time to head out. So, I didn't lose any more health in there, did I? No, nothing meaningful. Alright, so let's go over to... Wow, that's right around the corner. Yeah, Itakura already had, like within a character arc, one of my favorite... an arc that I particularly liked. I'm not sure I could call it my favorite. So
Hey.
to have her also be, like, the bad guy who was behind everything, it's great. Nishizono, Takanashi. Where'd the guy in the sunglasses go? The one from the picture.
So,
Looks like he left someone else in charge and took off somewhere. I see. Okay, I wouldn't want him spotting me from there anyway.
hey!
Yagami-san, the room up on the 3rd floor is the only one with lights on. Is that where Kodako is?
Yeah.
Probably.
Excuse me?
What are you gonna do, Yagami-san? 3rd floor, huh? Guess I'll have to sneak in.
Huh?
You're gonna sneak in? Alone?
Yeah.
It's more convenient that way. I'll probably have to talk things out with her first. Kodako. Amasawa's calling. Sorry.
Hello?
What's up? Hello, Yagami-san. I did some research on Itakura-san's parents.
Amasawa.
Did you find anything? Itakura-san's father passed away in a traffic accident back when she was still a middle schooler. Come to think of it, I remember hearing from Takanashi that Itakura lives just with her mother.
Yes.
Not only that, I also learned her father was a brilliant programmer. He was a network engineer for some high-profile company. And he taught Itakura-san computer programming from a very early age. It's somewhat similar to how I taught my dog to solve mysteries.
I see.
Sorry, I'll never get over she taught her dog to be a detective from, like, being a puppy. I see. Itakura got her skills from her dad. By the way, what did her mom have to say about her?
Well...
Actually, Yagami-san, her mother's currently hospitalized. Really? Why? Apparently she's rather sickly. She's been hospitalized for a while now.
Huh?
What? Are you serious? Did we, when we went to get Itakura from her house, remember, like, way back, like, episode 2 of this playthrough? Was Itakura-san's mother home? Or was she just... I don't remember hearing or seeing her. I wonder if she was hospitalized back then.
Yes.
When I saw her mother in her weakened state, I couldn't bring myself to talk about the case. No, that's fine. But if she doesn't have any parents at home, that means...
Yes.
Yeah, she's been all alone for quite some time. I see. Is that... What's up, Amasawa? Sorry, I'll be hanging up now. No, you can tell me what you're distressed about. She hung up. So Ronan's saying that he thinks that she said that her parents were out or away at the time. Yeah, Markintosh, see you in the VOD. Hi, Markintosh, in the future. Hello, and I hope you had a great night's sleep. Well, thank you both so much for your help. It's getting late. Could you let the other rabbits know so they can head home now? Are you going to be okay in there? Yeah, you just get the rabbits off the streets and leave the rest to me. Sure thing. Yagami-san? Take good care of Kodako, okay? I'm really glad that earlier in this session they clarified that Itakura's first name is Kodako, because I would not have remembered that. Alright, let's get to the 3rd floor. I should start by finding a good climbing spot. And more than a good climbing spot, Yagami needs to, like, map out every possible step of the path. Alright, so... Oh, no, maybe we don't. Okay, I take that back. I thought we were gonna have to go into, like, detective, investigation mode. Nope, we can't go up there. We can't go around there. Yagami, why can't you... Oh, it's not a real ledge. Okay. Oh, I see. Go down. Just let his grip meter build back up. Now, up again? Fox McCloud says, quote, you get the rabbits off the street, unquote. I'll take pimp quotes for 600, Alex. Where's Itakura? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Got another call. Yagami-san, sorry for hanging up on you before. I was calling from the hospital where Itakura-san's mother is staying when I noticed some suspicious individuals. I took a quick picture, sending it to you now. Oh, yeah, that's the dude who was, like, involved in the plot to try to hurt the, Norizuki. These guys are... They're Neo-Keihin gang members, correct? Thank you so much, Amasawa. I'm real busy now, but I'll update you soon. Understood. So, that seems like good evidence for Yagami to show Itakura. Like, Itakura, they're sending guys after your mom now. What was the Neo-Keihin gang doing at that hospital? Hopefully, Itakura will be willing to explain. Also, hope I don't run into Koga. Guys, was Koga in the first game? I don't remember Koga prior to this particular adventure. Like, this part of this investigation.
Itakura.
Huh?
Yagami-san, what are you doing here? I'm here to have a talk with you.
What?
You are?
I see.
Well, at least we can still talk, and it doesn't seem like they're restraining you here. Huh?
Hey.
Ronan is saying he was the very last of the Neo-Keihin. Oh, okay. He's probably been in this story prior to this, and I just do not remember him at all. Like, Honda, I remembered because he was sort of like the, he was in the first game as being like the, he was like the Conan O'Brien guy, and the guy that we just saw in the photograph, I don't remember his name, but the guy at the hospital, I remembered him from the first game. I do not remember Koga. What?
Hey.
Itakura, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. How'd you like the MRC and the Robotics Club? What? What are you talking about? Because if you ask me, I'd say they were downright gratifying to you. I mean, eventually, you seem genuinely happy working on MRC duties and teaching Sakura-kun programming. I still remember all of us in the Robotics Club getting ramen together, too.
Look here.
What do you actually want? For me to call the guards?
Hey.
Itakura, don't you think you've already taken a huge step forward compared to when you stopped attending school and isolating yourself?
What?
What?
Itakura.
I want the strength to survive on my own. That's totally fine. But you have the option of choosing a different life. That's what I think. That first big step, that takes real courage. But, Itakura, I know you have that courage now. You can break through the shell you've built around you.
Oh.
Come back to us.
Specifically to Serio, with me. It's too late for that. What do you mean by that? Itakura?
Really?
Wait. Does I have no predictions at all. What do you mean don't tell me? What? Did they implant a bomb in her spine? I don't know what this means. Don't tell me. The things you did as the professor, did they really turn out how you wanted?
Oh.
Maybe at first your goal was to get the rest of the cultural festival committee to drop out. But is that really all it boils down to? You're telling me nobody's been whispering in your ear at the very least?
What?
What are you trying to say? I've got proof you're being coerced into acting as a professor, at least to some degree. Oh, well, that would be the photographs of the Neo-Keihin gang thugs at her mother's hospital. Ronan says the jerk had 2 pistols, Koga did.
Apparently, Amasawa took a trip to the hospital that's caring for your mother.
What? How dare she?
And this is a photo she took from outside your mother's room.
Turn it sideways, Yagami. It makes it bigger.
I believe those guys are with the Neo-Keihin gang. And I know exactly how low they'll stoop. Threats and coercion are just the tip of the iceberg.
What are you saying?
The crimes, the delinquency. Tell me, how much of that was your own idea?
Well, the Neo-Keihin gang's essentially using my mother as a sort of insurance.
Insurance?
She's their ace in the hole should I make any attempts to betray them. But it's not like I'm being directly threatened or something.
You sure about that?
Yagami-san, my working relationship with the gang is not one built on trust. We're both fully aware we're using each other. But it's not like I completely lose out in this arrangement. I'm willing to accept the risks.
So you're saying you actually want to keep all this up?
I told you. I'm building the strength to stand alone. Obviously, that means I don't need your help.
Is that true, though? Aren't you being blackmailed? That's not something you can work out on your own.
Just drop it! Or do I need to call backup? I've made my decision. I'll be fine on my own. So just leave me alone, got it?
So stubborn. I doubt I'm gonna win her over like this. That means I'm out of options for now. I'll try again once I come up with a new strategy.
I get it. It's your life. so it's your call. I'll leave you to stew on that for a while. But if you ever need my help, all you have to do is tell me. You've got my number? Hit me up and I'll be there.
All right. I get it.
She's okay, right?
Help.
Huh? What'd you just say, Itakura?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do this. Please help.
It's okay, Itakura.
Help me, please. I really am being forced to do this. I can't leave. Or they said they'll kill my mom.
Like I said, all you had to do was tell me. Don't worry. I'll figure something out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm counting on you now, okay?
Hey.
Who was that?
Hmm?
Oh, just a friend.
Hey.
It's an unrelated call. Making plans for later. Emily-chan finally called me back. Anyway, Itakura, I'll ask you again. How much of this was your idea? All of it. I wanted to get revenge on the committee, just like you deduced. Maika was the first one. She posted that request about wanting to make some easy money. And that's when you suggested the sugar baby gig? Mm-hmm. I taught her everything, too. Date plans, identifying good marks to rip off, even exit strategies for when things went south. Did you know the reason Takanashi wanted the money in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
No, I had no idea she wanted to cover my tuition. So then what happened? Maika gradually started having more trouble with her targets, and I definitely didn't want her in any danger. So I decided to hire her some protection.
In other words...
And that's when the Neo Keihin gang showed up.
I suppose.
Yep. They didn't seem to have any other jobs going. They took mine at a really low rate. But after that, everything started escalating, with Koga and his crew. Eventually, they had me contributing to illegal enterprises of all sorts, not just those involving Serio students.
This is the worst.
The Neo Keihin gang is really something else. When it comes to evil, they never run out of ideas. It's almost like they know how to convert crime into cash. They've broken the code. For centuries, mankind has sought a way to transform crime into cash, but finally the Neo Keihin gang have found a way to make crime pay. Once Koga and his men got involved, there was enough action that it was only natural for word about the professor to spread around town, let alone Serio High.
Hey.
Sam Linda says, I think turning crime into cash is the job of a lot of criminals. It's like those like cash for gold commercials where people are thrilled to discover that gold is worth cash. When did the actual coercion start? This is not a funny scene, by the way. Not long after I first hired them, I expressed my disapproval towards Koga and his gang's approach to criminal activity, particularly the extreme measures they often take. And I didn't expect that to go over well with them, but I never thought they'd do anything so heinous as to take my mother hostage. I realize now I made a deal with the devil, all because of some stupid revenge I thought I deserved. Let's just get out of here for now. Is it safe for me to leave, though? I mean, my mom's...
Hey.
Don't worry, that's already taken care of. She's safe now.
What?
Really? Come on, Itakura. It's time to end this.
Oh. Got it.
Okay. I'll trust you, Yagami-san. Do I get to use Itakura's... Oh. Yagami, get him.
Yagami-san!
Oh, and also, Mirinda, who may or may not still be here, he said that part of the musical score reminds him of, like, some other game. There was one musical thing that would play, especially as Yagami was, like, going around town, that at one point, it was a much earlier episode, I was like, it sounds like the opening bars to, like, this other game, and now I've completely forgotten it. Look over there! Is it Koga? Looks like we're busted.
Professor!
What's going on here? I don't believe this aligns with our agreement. Or our arrangement.
Are we clear?
You promised me, once we assisted you in leading those 8 students astray, you'd shift your focus to our organization's work.
You people haven't exactly been sticking to your promises either. Didn't your crew take jobs under my name without my permission? Also, I never agreed to take advantage of that robotics expert.
This is stupid.
We prefer to think of those as examples of flexing our roles in the organization. More importantly, though...
Are you sure?
Do you actually not care if something were to happen to your mother?
Oh.
Gasp. Oh, about that, Koga? You really think you got the upper hand?
What?
Hey, Koga-san. We got a call from our hospital crew. What about? Is something wrong?
Sounds like they've started. This is where the Serial Rabbits come in, and they do such an awesome dance routine that they are mesmerized, and they forget what they're there for, and they all leave the hospital quietly.
I'm tired of...
No, this guy. Yeah, I'm tired of shit. How long do we gotta keep watch?
I'm starving. Starving, man.
Oh, no, it's the biker crew.
What?
What's up?
Ghost! The fuck?
What are they doing here?
Hey. What do you want? We meet again, dead meat. Good thing you're already in a hospital. I'm not holding back like last time.
Huh?
You were?
Should I make it so every joint in your body bends the other way?
Okay, well, what he said is way better than that text.
Oh shit!
Kasai? Shit! We're fucked! We're so fucked! That guy's off his nut!
Huh?
Wait, Kasai is... Back up! I'm getting back up!
Hey, wait for me. Listen up. We're on guard here 24/7 until Yagami finishes off those assholes.
Right. It was Ghost's underling, so one of them said right. We'll never know which one.
Hey, Kasai, what the hell are you doing? It's made in heaven.
Oh no, Kasai. Yeah, it's made in heaven. They got the hospital locked down. Yeah!
Hey! Kasai! What is it? Grr. Yagami, what did you do?
I went where you led me, Koga.
What? What's that supposed to mean?
Thanks to all the scheming you did while taking advantage of Itakura, I got led all over town cleaning up your messes and making allies.
I don't know who you're referring to. Return the professor to me, now.
Hmm? What?
Yoink. Wait, what did he just pick up? Yagami, what? There's more efficient ways to empty a gun, Yagami. Nice one, Okitagawa. Phew, looks like we got the stun mechanic working just in time. Oh, man, this thing is hard to steer. I'm 10 times more impressed with Yagami-san's skills now than I was during the competition.
Kurumazaki.
Look at that, Kurumazaki. The robot you wanted to make actually saved the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good design after all. Thank God we built that gun-snatching robot.
Curse you, Yagami.
Itakura, shield your eyes.
Oh.
Ugh, what the hell is that? My eyes!
How about some explosions?
It's Junpei Hanasaki of the Bokuon Ryu. Got a little present for ya.
Salmon is saying that just ejecting the clip isn't as cool as shooting all the bullets. It does also stop you from putting the bullets back into the guns. Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Good. Let's go. Okay. See, if you don't look at the fireworks, the cinders won't burn you.
Shit! Whoever can still move, follow me!
He's gonna have so many singe marks in that suit now. I can't run anymore. Yagami-san, where are we? What are we gonna do? Koga should be on his way.
What?
Koga?
I suppose you drew me away from my crew intentionally. No matter. With one call, they'll be here in moments.
I don't think this is Matt Mercer, but it could be.
I wouldn't count on that.
What?
Going somewhere, jackass? Well, I think you're staying put till the police get here.
Yeah! Let's get this fired up! Right here! The throbbing heart is the beat of the engine. My one true love is the asphalt. My first kiss tasted of death. Right to die! Let's go to Valhalla! Come on, angels! Let's ride out to the next life!
What'd you do? Delay them off somehow?
No backup today, Koga. It's finally over.
Professor, you know how highly I value your skills.
You what?
I genuinely have the utmost respect for you. Please consider the value of our partnership.
So
So you respected me by taking my mother hostage? Really? Didn't you threaten to taint her IV?
That was simply a momentary lapse of judgment. I needed insurance in case you turned on us.
Are you for real right now?
Please, Professor, consider your situation. Let's say you attempted to re-enter civilian life. Do you think society could put a proper value on you? No. Those odds are slim to none. Hammer the nail that sticks out. That's how society works. A cruel dog-eat-dog world of deceit and sabotage. People masking their true selves every day, all to avoid the wrath of their peers and superiors. And no matter how hard you try to make it unscathed, someone will be waiting for the opportunity to use you. But I'm sure you're more aware of this than most, aren't you? Professor, so long as you attempt to conform to society, you will always feel constrained, even suffocated. However, the Neo-Keihin gang would see you flourish to your full potential, giving you the freedom and strength you desire. And we would be most appreciative of your talents. So, Professor, please, come back into the fold.
No matter what I do, I'm going to have to interact with people. In the back of my mind, I've known that all along. But whether I knew it or not, I kept pretending it wasn't true. Ever since the day I left Serio. That is, until Yagami-san told me that I have all the courage I need.
Courage?
So, I've decided. I'm done lying to myself.
Well, Koga, sounds like she's made up her mind. The professor's done with you and your gang. And as her advisor, I support her decision. That means she's coming with me, not you.
What a shame. Truly a spoiled brat to the end. I don't know why I bothered trying to reason with you. Your performance is lackluster when you're forced to work. But it seems I have no choice in the matter anymore. Yagami, I'm taking you out right now. And you'll die knowing Kotoko Itokura will work for me until she's dead too.
Finally, you're talking like someone I need to hit.
Die, Yagami!
I feel like he was in the need to hit bundle before this. Wait, did you throw like a grenade? Yeah. I hope that didn't hit Itakura. That would be a real disappointing end to the story. Yeah, dude travels with grenades. Hold on, Yagami, don't stand next to that. No, no!
Prepare to die!
Oh, I kicked him out of bounds. I guess that's how you win.
Damn you!
Sorry for the holdup, Yagami-san. That Honda dude took us some time.
Oh, looks to me like you're all good here.
Yagami-san! So I guess we really cracked the case, huh?
Yeah,
Yagami-san, what are you gonna do with these guys?
good question. They might blab about the professor if we turn him into the police, so... Dump him in the sea?
What?
You're joking, right?
No need for the theatrics, Yagami-san. I've already wiped every record of the professor's involvement with the Neo-Keihin gang. You can take them to the police now.
So there's no evidence of the professor left? In that case, sounds like he's just another urban legend now.
An urban legend?
That's true. I doubt the police would even listen to a story about a high schooler's secret website where wishes were granted. I also doubt you'll find any reliable corroborating witnesses.
So, dumped in the sea? Taken to the station. What'll it be, Koga?
Boat's closed for you, bastard!
Damn it!
Oh!
I'm done with Japan! My next empire shall grow overseas!
Is he, planning to swim there or something?
Actually, he did mention once he was in the swimming club in high school. He said he'd spent his entire youth in pools. Hopefully he doesn't wash up on the beach somewhere.
I can't believe he just threw himself in the ocean.
I'll destroy you one day! Just you wait! Yagami!
Thanks for the help, everyone. Finally, we're done.
Kotoko! Thank God you're okay.
Itokura-senpai, let's work together again sometime.
You all know what I did, right? The things I've put you through. I'm sorry. I should... I need to own up to what I've done.
Own up? How do you plan to do that, Itokura-san?
What I've done is absolutely inexcusable. So, that's why I'm quitting Seiryo for good.
No way. If you drop out of Seiryo, what will you do instead?
I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'll register at a vocational school and get a job to pay for it. Then, I guess, get hired by some company, hopefully. It's not like I wouldn't be qualified.
You can't do that! Please, don't quit!
I'm sorry, Sakura.
But Itokura, we'll be so screwed if you leave, and... lonely, too.
If I don't take responsibility for what I did to you, I'll never be able to get past this.
Hold up.
What?
You don't need to be sorry for what you did. If anything, I'm grateful. It's thanks to you that I was able to get back into racing again. Besides, we're the ones who sent the cultural festival down the tubes by treating you so badly. If you're gonna drop out, then I am too. It's the only fair thing to do.
What? What are you saying? Yeah! He's got a point, you know! We all played a part in what happened to you. It isn't fair if you're the only one taking the fall. So if you're dropping out of school, so am I. Oh, no, why are you being so stupid again? You're the one being stupid, Kotoko. How is it you don't understand? None of us blame you for our decisions. Besides, are you really gonna throw away everything Yagami-san's done for you?
Takanashi-san's right. If you're only quitting for our sakes, then you should already know this isn't the optimal outcome.
That's right, Itokura. We were just as bad as you. Actually, we were even worse. All we had to do was be honest with you, but instead we just cut you out.
Well, sorry for ditching so many meetings and eating all the chips. And maybe I didn't have the best attitude, so, I mean, you shouldn't quit school.
Itokura-san, look how many friends you have now. Don't you think it'd be best to join them at school? Really? That would be... okay?
Itakura, come on back with us.
You guys... All right. Thank you. Yagami-san.
And this musical track reminds me of Persona a whole bunch. Yagami-san, thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
Looks like we finally solved the case of the Serio High Professor.
Yes.
And even better news, the MRC is stronger than ever, with Itakura-san back in the fold and with a brand new lease on life. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it.
Sis?
Maybe she can even handle some of the club duties so Sis can take the back seat for a while to focus on studying for once in her life. Hey, that's... Oh no, I forgot about the mock exams coming up.
Whatever.
I'm a Sawa senpai. In that case, would you like me to do some snooping around online, see if I can get the answer keys for you?
No.
No thanks. I'd rather not resurrect the professor for this. Plus, I'm still one of the better students here.
Hey!
Actually, maybe you should take her up on her offer. All the other students you'll be going up against have been studying hard, while you've been out chasing cases. I'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Probably. To some extent.
Amasawa.
Cracking a case is good and all, but it'd still be bad news if you wound up failing your entrance exams over it. A truly artful detective can solve incidents before they even occur, remember? That's so unfair of you to use in this situation. Well then, Yagami-san. See you all tomorrow. Or see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow, huh? Glad to hear it. I have absolutely no idea what that is. It looks like the scope off of a gun with a squirrel painted on it, but its name is Paint Seekers. Alright, so let's just double check, but I'm pretty sure that if we go into school diary, we have everything done. Yep, we did everything. Okay, so there was one more thing that when we were talking about like all the different clubs that I didn't say, I actually really like the stories that we got for the different bartenders in Girls Bite. Specifically, I liked how, much like I suspect is true in real life, the women that were in there that were broadly paid to, drink and pay attention to customers and give them somebody to talk to and interact with, had their own lives that they were going on about. Haruka had like this relationship with her dad that she felt really bad about, and then he came in but apparently didn't recognize her because he didn't bring his glasses along, and she got to hear directly from him how much he missed her and how important their relationship was to him, and how he was worried that that she didn't feel that way about him, that their relationship was irreparable, and that even though he was paying for her way through college, she didn't like regard him very warmly anymore. I did think it was very funny when he somehow summed up that line of thinking as, "I'm worried that I raised a moron." just not the word that I would use to ascribe for that level of like ungrateful brattiness, which seemed like that was what he was thinking. But I think my favorite storyline in there was Ayaha, who was the bartender, was like, "Oh, I just love parties. I love drinking and parties. Partying and drinking. That's all I'm about." And then when Yagami, like, in a decision that, didn't feel particularly good at the time, went to go track her down, he found out that she was, in her own words, like her own way of describing it, a huge otaku, and was just super into anime and manga and all of this other stuff. And her story was that she had learned from a very young age that stuff wasn't for girls, that society would judge her for it and treat her weird. And it really resonated with me when she said that her party girl attitude and sort of like presentation was her henshin costume. It's what she put on to deal with the challenges of life. She just pretended to be like really into drinking and partying, when secretly what she wanted to do, and what she did go home, she said, "I don't have a boyfriend, I don't have friends. When I leave work, I go home and I watch anime. But I feel like I have to do it alone, because if anybody found out about it, it would be it would like people would look at me weird, they'd treat me badly." And that, along with a lot of the other stories that we got here in the school stories, is judgment-fied a little bit, where like it's presented where she picks up this plastic Captain Cop sword and they all do the move, and it's funny and zany and silly, but the underlying truth that the story is getting at is something that I feel a lot of people go through, especially in high school. Like, she's a young adult, like she's in college or whatever, so she's much older than a lot of these other students, but it still falls within the school story motif of trying to find a balance between who you are, who you want to be, and how you feel about how that might be judged by society. And that was the story in among the Girls Bite bartenders that I thought like hewed the most closely to that, and I didn't talk about that earlier. Aside from that, we sort of like talked our way through this. I love that esports guy was here throughout this whole last part of the adventure. Didn't really have anything to do with it. Also, the photography, what was her name again? Turabe. Yeah, she was also like present in the cutscenes, but otherwise had like nothing to do with it, because their stories just were only sort of tangentially related to the professor at any point. Fox McCloud is saying, first of all, Amasawa is don't be stupid, take the key. Not just the answers, but learn from it. And also, Paint Seekers is a laser sight. I'm not even sure where to go in the menu to try to find out what it is. Wait, what was here? No, that's just a speech bubble. So let me ask a quick question for Ronan. Ronan, was there any possibility of doing this before the end of the main story? I don't mind having done an epilogue story. I just thought it was weird that I could not find a vector to do all of this stuff before finishing the main story. What was I going to look at here? Oh, items. I kind of feel like it'd be like I don't know, disguise. Valuables, maybe? Sorry, I just like that Detective Dog falls into valuables, and his description is a very helpful investigation partner. Yes, he is. I agree with that. Let's see what else we've got in here. What are we looking for again? What was it called? Paint Seekers. No, it's not in here. We can look into miscellany. Literally the last mystery of the entire game. What the hell is Paint Seekers? Oh god, this list is so long. And it's not alphabetized either. These are all crafting materials. Oh, here's my 4 teardrop earrings. Okay, and then recipes and recovery. Guys, I have no idea. If I had to guess, maybe it has something to do with a, with like drone racing or something, but that's a guess. Whoops. Where's the out? There we go. And that's it. Yeah, that's the school story. So, yeah, I think maybe the last thing that I wanted to address. Also, okay, so just very quickly, I did say at the end of our finale part 1 of the main story that if I thought of anything else that I'd want to say, I would share it here. I'll do that right now. The one and only other thing that occurred to me while we were watching the scene, but that I didn't say that I remember, is the big sort of like dramatic finale, not the combat finale, obviously, but the big like drama, like the big drama climax is Yagami gets stressed up and he puts on his lawyer pin again and he goes in and he argues the case in court. And the only thing that I found disappointing about that is that Saori-san has already been very firmly established as being an extraordinary lawyer. She's clearly like the lawyer to beat at Genda Law. She is very, very good at her job, and she does invite Yagami to come along, but I'm just saying that I personally would have not only been perfectly fine with it, but would have preferred it if during that scene Yagami was present, but all of the questioning and stuff was like you as the player, all the gameplay elements are there, but you are Saori-san instead. And I actually would have liked it even more if at one point Yagami goes to like interject and starts like, oh, no, I got it. It's good. Like maybe she wanted Yagami there because she knows she's worked with Yagami before. He is an excellent lawyer, but she is the lead lawyer on the case and, you know, and is able to bring it home without his assistance. I think that actually would have been super cool because that's sort of like, that's what Saori is. Saori's not an undercover investigator. She's not, she's not a kung fu fighter. She's a lawyer. And that's her role in the story, and that's what she does super well. And I, like, if it were me designing it, I would have had all the same gameplay elements, but it would have been Saori from start to finish. And maybe Yagami chimes in a couple times doing, like, what Saori had done in the actual case. I do understand from a gameplay perspective, like, if this were the Judgment live-action series we were talking about, I would like to believe that it would have been Saori that did it, but from a gameplay perspective, they probably want to have the player controlling Yagami the vast majority of the time, and they probably feel uncomfortable going into like what's like the kickoff for the story finale, having you playing as a different character, and they don't want you to feel disconnected from it. At least that's just what I assume was the arguments being made in the writer's room when they were putting together that sequence. I just happen to disagree. You know, I understand why, I just don't believe that, and I would have preferred to see that. The only other thing is like, coming back in here to the school stories, because this is our school story finale, and the end of Lost Judgment. This is the last episode, there's nothing else. Earlier in the episode when we were up at the whiteboard, I sort of like talked through what I thought about a lot of these other clubs. The only other thing that I would say about Lost Judgment is when the story started and we started playing and it seemed like it was going to be set in and around a high school, I was immediately very concerned. Like, one of the early storylines was Yagami's going to plant some hidden cameras around the school to catch incidents of bullying. And the characters are talking about, like, yeah, we want to make sure that we put them in places where they can catch bullying, which means areas that teachers aren't normally going to be. And where the students go, but the teachers aren't there, and we'll also want to make sure that we hide them in a way that the students aren't going to find them. And I was like, oh no, like you remember this episode, like I'm not sure how I feel about this. And it is true, like, just so that people know, Yagami does put one camera in near the entrance to the boys' bathroom, where all it can see is the sinks. And that's all that it can see. And every other one went into like a stairwell and someplace like that. So it didn't go some of the places that I frankly really thought it was going to after having played the first game. And the other stories that we got, like, let's just take a quick look here. The Mystery Research Club is primarily about Amasawa, a young woman who I continue to say, like, now we know more about Itakura, so maybe Amasawa is no longer the smartest person in the entire story. But for the vast majority of Lost Judgment, I was saying that Amasawa should basically be Yagami's boss. She's just better at it. She's better at being a detective. Yagami's very good at fighting. Yagami's very good at lawyering. Amasawa, like, she doesn't have the age and experience to it yet, but she's a fantastic detective. And remember the thing I just talked about, the cameras? It was Amasawa who found the camera, and Amasawa who said, wait, if we remove the camera, then they're going to then we won't be able to, like, follow through. But if we disable the camera by just putting a sticker on top of it, then we can watch to see who comes to check on the camera, because only the person who laid the camera would know that something had gone wrong and come back to check it out. And when it came time to prove who had put down the cameras, she had, like, remember this? She had, like, put some phosphorescent dust on the ground and said, oh, but Yagami, you think you're going to get away with it, but if I shine this ultraviolet light on your shoes, it will prove that you were the only person on that stairwell. Like, she had him absolutely dead to rights. And that's how we came to meet Amasawa. I talked earlier about the dance club, about how at first it seems like it's going to be a competition to, like, earn this boy's affection, but then midway through the story, 3/4 of the way through the story, that whole thing just falls completely apart, and it's just two really good dancers who inspire each other and drive each other to higher echelons of achievement, that are competing for the sheer joy of competition. And there's no hard feelings about it. There's no affection for some boy on the line. It's just them enjoying something that they love to do. Over in the robotics club, a kid who, like, there's thieving robots running around, which is very Judgment, right? But ultimately it's about this guy who he can see what needs to be done. He thinks he's always right. He's young enough and inexperienced enough that he doesn't have any management skills yet, and Yagami steps in and is able to help him with that. On the boxing gym, we talked about this. A kid who was born in a very, very aggressive and abusive household is able to overcome some of his trauma by channeling his energy into something else that's more constructive, where he learns, much like in the dance club, to enjoy the art of the fight, the competition, the camaraderie of it. The biker gang we talked about. Girls Bar is sort of its own thing, but I talked about that. And again, the bartender who's in there who, like, what did we learn about Girls Bar? Right now, of the 4 women that we met at the Girls Bar, which is the one that, like, when I played the first Judgment, I might have expected at least one of the characters to be, like, highly sexually charged, very flirty, very much like, oh, I just want to be with all the boys. That doesn't happen. All of these characters are presented as, to be blunt, up-and-coming professionals who are doing this job because it pays well enough to allow them to pursue the things that they're interested to go out and do. Haruko wants us to go and see the world. Ayaha wants to she's into anime and stuff, and she, like, that's what she likes, and that's where her money is going to. May, am I remembering the last person's name? She's an underground idol. And when she's not at work, she's using this to finance, like, the outfits and stuff that she does to do to follow her idol career. I don't remember this character's name off the top of my head. We can probably click on it right here. Hayakawa was, a fantastic, like, a preternaturally gifted card sharp. She was very, very, very good at reading other people, knowing their tells, understanding when they're bluffing. This kid, kind of a loser. sorry, I really want to be the best at video game fighting, and I don't want my video game club. I like video games. I think that every single thing that he did was gone about the wrong way. I'm going to cheat at this fighting game to make my club more relevant. He didn't really suck. This was a story of two artists. Two artists, one of whom was significantly better than the other until he lost partial control of his hand. And he sort of quit artistry. And his friend, his former best friend, set him out on a track to re-engage his love of art. What I'm saying here as we go through these, and I talked about Photography Club earlier, is there are... It's not that the themes never ever came up, like especially the bad high school student who it is explicitly stated wanted to sexually assault Emily Chan before murdering her. Like, there is dark shit in this game, but on the whole, Lost Judgment, I feel, learned from some of the repeating themes in the first game, and they set out to say, if we're going to do a story that's set in and around a high school, let's come up with a broader range of interesting stories that seem generally age appropriate and cover some of the themes about finding yourself and learning how to interact with people and setting yourself on a course for who you want to be in life that feels appropriate to a high school setting. We talked earlier, by the way, I like, just in case people come in late, I talked again at, in significant detail about the end of the dance club story with the crazed stalker guy. I don't want to rehash that here, but I would submit that missing the mark really badly on one of the stories doesn't undercut what I thought was a lot of really interesting and engaging storytelling. So I thought the school stories was an excellent addition to this game. The further that it went on, the less concerned I was that I was going to get my, explaining the game or feeling humiliated to have played it. Which there were some stuff in the first Judgment, or like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There's games out there that you play and you're like, oh my god, if other people watch this, they think, what the hell is wrong with you? And this was, on the whole, a series of stories about smart, compassionate, intelligent, up-and-coming people that are coming from a variety of backgrounds and learning how to work things out with one another, which culminated with the end of the MRC story, where they all literally come together and cooperate to find out, who is the professor, where is the professor, and now let's save this person who has also gone astray, but no more than the rest of us. None of us are perfect, and we have to learn to work together and to forgive each other and to be better as a team rather than just throw each other out and cast each other aside. I thought it was excellent. I really, really enjoyed this. Ronan says there's still a camera in that bathroom, is there? I assume they took that out. We were going to prison, LMAO. They just wanted to give us a reason to play Virtua Fighter, which I appreciated. Yeah, the esports thing. I was glad that the esports thing was short, just because I didn't want to learn to play Virtua Fighter. But the fact that it's in here, in what appears to be its entirety, is super neat. We will absolutely not have a trio of perverts to take down in Lost Judgment. Yeah, which was a big thing in the first game. So, yeah, on the, maybe one final idea to introduce here is more than one person who is otherwise a regular of the stream shared, it's that, pervy adult hanging out with high school students game. Like, I'm not really comfortable with this. And that is perfectly fine, especially based on the reputation from the first game. I can completely understand anybody walking into this and being like, you know what? I don't even want to deal where this might be going, and just have shown their way out. I will say, though, that to the extent of people that might have seen this all the way through, and so no, I still think it's weird for a 38-year-old man to be hanging around and getting involved in the lives of high schoolers. Oh boy, do I have some bad news for you about what I did for about a half decade. Because it turns out that if you are interested in getting a teaching degree, at least in the United States of America, one of the first things that they want to know is what experience you're bringing in before you can get into any sort of well-respected education program. Is they want to know that you've done education work. So for not less than 5 years, I myself did volunteer work in elementary, middle, and high schools to get that level of experience. And I will tell you that when you are working alongside youths and juveniles for basically 8 to 10 hours a day, depending on what you're doing for like after school activities and stuff, you will become involved in their lives. You will get to know them far beyond anything that says what the grade is on the page. And you get to know who they are, who their friends are, what their interests are. And these are all things that you learn to engage with because they're helpful educational tools. If someone's interested in art, if someone's interested in math, if someone's interested in writing, you can use that to springboard off into other interests to help out their educational career. And it teaches you things as well about those topics and how to interact with other students. And one story that I would share here, here's the closest that I ever come to telling like a deep personal story, but it is very true, and it's one that that matters a lot to me. In one of the student placements that I had, this was after I was in college and enrolled in the education program. I was working at one of the elementary schools. It was actually so they changed it so that I was working with 6th graders, which in my head was elementary school, but this was actually a middle school. So we were all in middle school, and one of the big modules that was done was this lesson on immigration into America. And everyone, it was a multi-month long rollout of this big social studies project that was then tied into math, tied into history, tied into science, and they did all sorts of different projects around this theme of immigration into America, specifically around like the early 19th century, where it was a lot about the experience of immigrants coming into and being processed in Ellis Island. And I remember that the kids read, I believe the name of the book was A Rucksack for Rivka. It was something like that. I'm sure if you Amazon search for Rucksack and Rivka, it'll come right up. But I want to say it was a Rucksack for Rivka was the name of it. It's super close, if not. And this all culminated. Oh, and by the way, as one of the projects that was done, all the students did research into their own family histories of when their families had immigrated into America, and they made up these big boards that showed like the lineage of, parents, like a family tree. You don't know what I'm talking about. And where they had come from and where their family roots tied back to from around the world. A major theme is that if you trace it far enough back, the United States is a nation of immigrants. We all came from somewhere, unless you are, descended from First Nations peoples. So there was a lot of that as a major theme, and all of this culminated with a big school-wide event, which was Immigration Day. It was Ellis Island Day, and all of the students, it was a whole day long, all the students arrived at school dressed in clothing that was evocative of where their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents would have emigrated from. And the whole floor of the school was turned into a processing center, where what we did was we put into live action a lot of the things that they had read about in the books and in the history and the social studies and the Rucksack for Rivka, about the process of what it felt like to be coming in to America through Ellis Island, where to a large extent, and this was covered in the educational materials, people were treated, they were sort of shuffled through like cattle. They were dehumanized, depersonalized. Some of their names were changed, just like, entire syllables cut off, or even just renamed entirely as part of their processing papers because, oh, that's too hard to spell. That's too hard to pronounce. Your new American name is this. And this was something that they had spent months at this point learning about. And one of the things that I was volunteered with was to be one of the processors that was like bringing them in, quote unquote, off the boat as they came in, and they were going to get processed at Ellis Island. And I leaned into it real hard. And I did an accent that was specifically, I made myself difficult to understand, to help simulate arriving in a place where you might not necessarily speak the language. And where I had always been I would like to think sort of a nice and friendly teacher that worked with the kids, I was hard. I was not cruel, but I was very terse. I was very, like, to the point. Name? Yeah, where are you from? You know, just being very, very disinterested in them. And shuffled them through. Next, shuffled them through in a way that was very, very matching to what they had learned about. And at the end of the whole project, I was not here, but they went through and they did all the different activities. There were different stations that they went to, and and it was a whole day, and there were parents there, and there were other teachers, and at the end of it, at the whole end of it, now I had to get back to class because this was when I was back in college, so I had to leave around the time that, like, the Immigration Day event was done, so I wasn't there for the wrap-up. So I can only next relay what I heard, which was when asked, what did you guys think? What did you guys like? And a lot of, like, the parents were there as proctors and stuff like that. They talked about, like, what they liked and what they didn't like. One of the kids apparently said, and got in trouble for saying, like, they were asked, like, what did you learn about being an immigrant coming into a foreign country? Like, oh, it really sucks. Like, they don't treat you. And he got in trouble for using the word sucks, for example. So I heard about this in some detail. And then they were asked, what was your favorite part of it? And I can only go by what I was told. Overwhelmingly, they said, and I can't use my own name here, but they said that I was their favorite part because I was the one that made it feel real. That the other parents and stuff, they hadn't gotten the memo that this wasn't supposed to be fun field day. This was supposed to be evocative of what they had read in the books, and they really loved it. And that's a story that I'm sharing here because, first of all, it's been... Oh gosh, I think it... I'm trying to do math in my head. At least 15 years. And this is a story and experience that still means a lot to me. And it's an example of how you interact with the kids in a way that isn't reading and writing and arithmetic, but you form these connections with them as people. And a lot of those kids that I worked with during those years that I was as a student teacher, if I met them today as adults, I would immediately recognize them and remember things about them from back in the day. So, yeah, that's my takeaway. If somebody, watched these school stories through to the end and said, no, I still think it's pretty creepy that a 38-year-old guy was hanging around with a bunch of high school students, I can only share based on the story that I just shared here. I didn't see that. I really didn't. I saw. I will reiterate what we said during the dance club competition when it was actually explicitly called out a short time later. What I saw was a guy who had a very, very uneven high school experience himself when his parents were killed, and his like whole educational career was sort of thrown completely off track, who then, through the direct hands-on tutorship of other adults in his life, got things back on track. And now he has an experience, an opportunity rather, to go back to this high school and to pay that forward to these kids, which was what I wanted to do when I was going in to be a student teacher. I was remembering and thinking about the adults in my life that had helped me to set me on a brighter path, and I wanted to do that for other kids and high school students coming up, because having experienced the value of adults that take an interest in your life and care about you as an individual, I knew how valuable that was, and I wanted to be able to do that with them. So that's my take on it. This is not a game about being a student teacher. It is not a game about real life in a real school. But I certainly didn't see anything in here that made me feel uncomfortable interacting with these kids. And if I had, I would have stopped doing the school stories. So that's my take on it. If other people see something different, I can't necessarily argue the point against it, but I saw a lot in here about, like, that I said my piece. So let me just read through. Ronan had said virtual fighter. So you're role playing as a Popeyes drive-through employee. Yeah, just being super rude to people. In fair, I've never been to a Popeyes. That's not true. I went into a Popeyes once, and I looked at the menu and said, "There's nothing here for me," and I left. And I've never been back to a Popeyes. On the real kids needs those kinds of influences in their lives. It can't all just be books. And Sam is saying fascinating, like seriously, your perspective is cool and unique. And then Fox McCloud says, what game's next? I expect, Fox McCloud, that you will find out tomorrow. I don't want to announce it, but I will say this. The goal is tomorrow to at least do an audition stream of the next major playthrough. As with any audition stream, I might hate it and just nope right out of it, in which case we will go to something else. But the next audition stream is all lined up. And Sam Leonard, I'm glad that it was an interesting story. I would just maybe end this topic on this idea. Volunteer at a school. Not necessarily you, Samalander, but anybody. Go ahead. Like, if you are someone who is concerned about students at American public schools being taught to hate the country, being taught to hate white people, being taught, quote, critical race theory, unquote, if you're worried that they're not being challenged, if you feel that they're not being, if they're falling through the cracks and their needs are not being serviced by the professionals in the school system, go volunteer. Go. I'm not stopping you. No one is stopping you. You contact the school, you go into the office, you apply, you talk to them about your availability. Go work with the kids yourself. And I'll just throw out there, if you can find the school out there that's teaching kids to hate America and hate white people and I'm just letting you know, I didn't. I live in a super blue state. I live in a state that reliably goes Democrat in every presidential election. We are as blue as the sea. And I'm letting you know that I worked in probably a dozen different schools over the course of about 5, 6, 7 years. Again, I'm not doing math real well right now, but it was throughout the last half of my college experience. But for years before that, to get the necessary experience, never encountered that. I never once found the school where they're teaching all the kids to hate America like we hear. Now that was a few years ago, so maybe they've updated the curriculum, but I kind of doubt it. And if you're concerned about it, go volunteer. It's out there for you. They will be glad for the extra set of hands and the extra assistance in there. So that's where I end on the topic of volunteering in schools. It is a wonderful and gratifying experience that can mean all the world to the kids that you work with, and will teach you a lot about education and a lot of the themes that we talked about in this game, frankly. So that's that. Sam Leonard says, I've got 2 kids in school. I already provide volunteer labor. Yeah, no doubt. One of the things that you encounter working in the American school system is the very, very sharp divide between the parents that are actively engaged with their kids' schooling and the parents who treat the school as basically free daycare. An attitude that it can follow the kids all the way through any age. Your job as a teacher is to make sure that my kid doesn't get injured. And outside of that, y'all can go fuck yourselves. I encountered parents that have that exact outlook. And I'm pleased to say, encountered many, many, many more parents that were actively engaged with their kids' education, wanted to know more about how the homework was put together, wanted to know how the lessons were being taught, not to challenge, but to maintain that and to reinforce it back at home. So, yeah, and Sam Land, I'd only share that I would never doubt for 1 second that you are a fantastic parent who is highly involved in your kids' lives. So, yeah, that's like when I said go volunteer in a school, it was not directed at Sam Lander, just to the people listening, like, oh, teachers, what do they know? Those who can do, those who cannot teach. We've all heard that little chestnut, right? Okay. Go volunteer at a school. Let me know how it works out. I had a teacher once who was, I need to wrap this up, but was talking about all of the dirty looks that he had gotten over the years and all the snide comments about like, oh, I wish I could have summers off. And he'd say, go get your teaching degree. I'm not stopping you. You think this is a fantastic time with like summers off? By all means. Go off, get your master's degree, which is what's required in our area. Go get your master's degree in education. Come on back and tell me how many summers you wind up getting off. Mark Quack, thank you so much for the 1,000-bit cheer. He says thank you for finishing the game and a good coda as well. Yeah, hopefully this will be the last idea. Hopefully what I've shared here doesn't come across as like challenging or I don't know, judgmental or whatever. I wanted to reserve reaction to the school stories in general until after we'd seen them through. And I have to say that I was by and large pleasantly surprised with how they were handled, the variety of stories that they're told, and that the students are one and all treated as active agents with their own agendas and interests and friendships and value in the story, that they weren't just interchangeable cogs. Like, I don't know, I thought it was really well handled. And the one example was the dance club thing, which I talked about so much at the time and even earlier in this episode. I will not repeat it here. And that's it. That is everything that we have to say about the World of Lost Judgment. I'm going to throw down one final save, which will at this point reflect all the chatter that I did. I don't know. What's my oldest save at this point? This one? Sure. And that is a final playtime, wait, lock it in, of 76 hours, 8 minutes, and 8 seconds. There we go. An extra 6 hours of talking. So we're going to exit out to the main menu, and that is... I have not saved manually. Ronan says, call the damn police. This is not Yakuza. We can snitch. Wait, what did I miss? All the teachers I knew had second jobs for the summer so that they could, eat. Yeah, that and all the teachers that I knew were in education classes themselves for the summer because they needed to re-up on their licensing. It's an ongoing license renewal, at least in my area, where if you want to continue teaching, you need to continue to take classes at your own expense and keep up with your accreditation so that you can continue teaching. Oh, about the dance club thing. Yes. Yeah, no, Ronan, 100%. Yeah, that's... At this point, I feel like everybody here, now and in the future, has already heard my take on it. My opinion on that has not changed even remotely. The dance club thing. That is... It is a complete collapse in the writing, because... Not to touch on it again, but... One of the things that made the school stories work was that Yagami was acting as an advisor, as a counselor, as a guide to these kids going through their various club activities. And there were times when he would step back. Like, remember when Nishizono was confronted by Minami, hey, we need to kick some of these dancers out of the Dancing Rabbits because they're no good and they're going to drag us down. And Yagami didn't get involved. And then Nishizono said, no, I'm not going to kick them out. We dance like nobody's watching, and I'm not going to chase people out. And then they wound up getting it. And it made sense that Yagami stepped back and let her make her own decision. And even in this episode, when he was dealing with Itakura, Yagami could, as a larger adult, have grabbed this minor child and dragged her out. But, in part because it's a fictional story and it's judgment, he waited and let her make the decision, because you can't force someone to make the right choice. You can force them out of a situation, which, based on how dangerous it was, I kind of thought that he should do. But by allowing her to make the choice for herself, that's what gives her the courage to stand up for herself, the courage to realize it's the right thing, that she goes forward knowing that she has the courage and the support to do what's necessary. And that's why that worked. And where that fell apart was in the Dancing Rabbit story, where at the end, Yagami defers to the judgment of, let's go with, she's 16, 17, 18, I don't know how old she is, who says, no, I don't want to press charges against this violent, obsessed stalker who tried to have me permanently maimed because I feel responsible for his weird sicko obsession. And Yagami, as the adult in the equation, needed to step in and say, no, whoa. Okay, let me explain to you a few things. We're going to talk a little bit about survivor's guilt. Hold on, let me just kick the shit out of this guy. Okay, I'm back. So here's how survivor's guilt works. You didn't do anything wrong. You are not responsible for the sick fascination of weirdo strangers who you don't even know. And it's your responsibility for you to live the best and most constructive life that you can. You do not need to explain your professional decisions to rando strangers who want to see you dance in a certain way. And that man is going to jail forever. And that's the way that story needed to end. And here I am, rehashing it again. So, that is it. You guys, Lost Judgment has been a great game. We talked a lot about at least some about one of the motivations for playing it in the previous episode, and I don't want it to sound rote or repetitive, so you can go back and watch the end of episode 24, but it remains true here. And I have really enjoyed going through this game. I still, to this moment, have never played a Yakuza game, but I've played now 2 games that are Yakuza adjacent. First with Last Judgment, and now Lost Judgment. And I really enjoyed the journey. So thank you all for coming along with me. If Markintosh is watching this in the VOD, Markintosh, it's really been wonderful having you here for all the episodes. Sorry that we had to play at hours where you had to turn in, but hopefully you've enjoyed watching the VOD, and your presence here in all of these streams was very much appreciated. And of course that goes to everybody live as well. Another big thanks to Mark Quack for the 1,000-bit cheer, and I feel like we have covered everything that I had to say. Our first ever 2-part finale. Can you believe it? Never before has a game been structured in such a way where we had to split the finale up into 2 separate episodes. We are going to go find somebody fun to raid, and we will see you as early as tomorrow for something brand new. But before you tune into us, don't forget to check out both Samalander, who typically gets to stream through a good chunk of Friday, followed by tomorrow evening. It should be More Than a Mia with her next episode of Frightening Fridays, and I believe that will be episode 2 of Fear, as in the first-person shooter Fear. I'm really enjoying getting to watch her visit that game for the first time, because it reminds me of how much I enjoyed it, both when it first came out and on a couple replays since then. It's really holds up very well. That's it. You guys, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and I will see you again in the days to come with some new streaming adventures. And until then, I hope you have a great day.